where they're coming from, because they're on the basement, and like all the free weights are on the top level.
Yeah.
So like it definitely echoed down much louder than it seemed to be.
Yeah.
But I've definitely noticed like since I came back to Australia, it's become more accepted. Like even the gym I used to work at, like they have like platforms and legal bars and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like it's like an easy fix to the solution. Like if there's too much noise, get bumpers from the top.
Yeah. They have that now. They have Rico's got platforms now and almost all the good.
There's like a whole other like good like appeal to that whole like community of like gym goers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go do some more banded police stuff. So
Do you think there's your bag, eh? There's your stuff still over there.
yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
That was actually pretty easy.
Good morning. Just as a heads up, Platform 1 will be starting 10 minutes behind Platform 2 over here. We are going to announce all of our referees, though, right now, so that we aren't interrupting lifting, so that we can get started on both platforms. So I'm going to start on Platform 1 over here, okay? I think sitting head chair, correct? We have Linda McFeeters from Ontario. On one of the sides, I'm not sure, Vicky Taylor-Hood from Newfoundland. And closest to me here is Russ Agnew from Saskatchewan. Sitting on our jury, meet director extraordinaire over there, Susan Haywood, local girl from Manitoba. Also on our jury from BC, Chris Robb. And on our jury from Ontario, right, Harnik Singray. TC from Quebec, Daniel Royer. Newfoundland and Labrador? Kevin, right? Larry. Okay. Larry Walsh from Newfoundland. I don't know why I didn't know that. I just had that moment of like, uh-oh. I talk to him all the time. What am I going to... All right. And on our platform 2, who's sitting head? From BC, Gabe Festing. He is one of our new VPs for the CPU. So congratulations as well. Sitting in the far chair, Jeanette Losel Sitar from Manitoba, also a local girl. And closest that will be sitting in this side chair from Ontario, Carol Brady. And we are getting started with lifting on platform 2 in 2 minutes. Who is in this session? 66 sub-junior, who else?
It's up there.
Thank you. They're bringing a vacuum. So every morning here, every morning, let's get a vacuum because they have to take back clean overnight. Okay. No, I keep logging in as a guest. There's a guest option, so I keep logging in as guest.
So it looks like this session here on Platform 2 is mostly sub-junior men and a few junior men. And we are going to get started because the bar is loaded for lifter 1, Nathaniel Woodward.
Welcome everybody to the 2020
Let's go, Nathaniel. Start us up.
CPU Nationals. We are about to begin with our
After Nathaniel, we
junior
will go
and
to Andrew
sub-junior
Alden.
66 kilo athletes. We have some 74s in here as well. And we have Nathaniel Woodward starting off. Squat 1, 145 kilos. Sub-junior 66. And opening attempt.
Looks like he made light
Silence in
work
the
of that,
room.
but the referees,
But a good lift.
they
3
agree.
white lights.
It's a nice way to open squats today.
And
All
my
right,
name
weight
is
stays
Chris
the same,
Fudge, and I'm gonna
145
be
kilos
here
for Andrew Alden.
giving
Following him, we
commentary
have
over the next
Christopher.
3.5 to 4.5 hours.
Bar is loaded.
Doing my best to update you auditorily so you can hear what is going on as well as seeing what's on the live stream. Now we have Andrew Alden, 145 kilos, sub-junior 83 kilos. Andrew goes quite deep.
That looked like a very solid opener.
Good bar speed.
And we have 3 white lights.
White lights.
All right, we are going to go to Christopher Palfrey. He's got 162.5 kilos, converts to 358 pounds at 8:30 in the morning. Whatevs. After that, we're going to go to Matthew Duvry. Bars loaded. Let's go, Christopher.
Okay, Christopher Palfrey's up next here. His opener is 162.5 kilos. Christopher's an Ontario sub-junior 74 athlete. Christopher's in a flight of 3 athletes today. And he's opening at the highest bench.
And
Ooh,
I missed it
3
on depth.
reds.
So when you
Referees
see
want him to go a
the
little
referees,
bit
they're going to have a
lower
red
down.
light up there if they see an infraction. Each number
Strength was
corresponds to a
definitely there.
different
I think he'll
infraction
come
they've
back and
seen.
hit that no
All 3 of the
problem.
referees indicated that they did not believe he met the
Up
depth
next, we have
requirement of the
Matthew
squat.
Duvry. Matthew is 17 years young.
All right, we're going to go to
all the way from
172.5
Ottawa,
kilos here
Ontario.
for Matthew Duvry. Following him, we have Ryan Ward. Bars loaded.
Bar is loaded for Matthew. Matthew's coach is Jensen McDonald, and he would like to give a shout out and a thank you to him, as well as all the school's weight room boys. This one's for you, boys.
Over 3 minutes to change your opener. Platform 1, you have just over 3 minutes to change your opener.
Let's go, Matt. Goes down, comes up, looks smooth to me.
And they say,
And
3 white lights,
3
it's a good
white
lift.
lights, that's a good lift.
all right, we're going to take it up just a little chunk here to 175 kilos for Ryan Ward. After that, we have Magnus Holmgren. I'm sorry, guys, if I butcher your names. I'm trying real hard.
So if anyone's looking to purchase any of the attire they might see some of the athletes wearing, I believe
As an
that is
aside,
a
I know there's not
Titan
very many of
singlet,
you here, but this is
so
not
possibly
golf.
purchase that
We
from
actually
Titan
don't
Canada
have to be
or
golf
Titan
silent.
USA.
So there's only a few of you, so you actually double duty. Bars loaded.
Lucas Wiseman on the live stream, you were asking, is there music
It was a
playing?
good start.
Yes, there is
We'll
some
keep going.
music playing in the event.
Gotta work that shit out.
Now we have Ryan Ward, 175 kilos, sub-junior 83, Ontario athlete. Oh, looks smooth to me.
Our less than 5 minutes out over here on platform 1.
And another good
3
lift.
whites, he's on the board.
Opener here on platform 1.
So the way openers should look. All right, 180 kilos here for Magnus. After Magnus, we go to David Chu. 180 kilos, just shy of 400 pounds, and the bar is loaded.
So Magnus is coming in. There's 4 athletes in his division of the sub-junior 83. His 180 kilo opening squat is the 2nd highest nominated squat for openers. Let's see how this moves.
And 3 white lights. I expected it. He
white
has a
lights.
strong name. Magnus is a strong name. It is. David Chu, 182.5 kilos. We have crushed the 400-pound barrier. Following him, we're going to go to Damian Hugh.
David Chu is next, 402 pounds on the bar, 182 and a half kilos. A sub-junior 66.
So we are over 400 pounds here, and we're a sub-junior category. Sub-junior 66. Sub-junior is 14 to 18 years old. Bars loaded. Let's go.
Here comes Mr. Chu.
30 seconds. Anyone run into the score table to change your opener? Get it.
And David is one out of 2 athletes in his division. If he hits this, it puts him in a good lead on the squat by 37 and a half kilos.
Looked solid to
And gets
me,
the
but
rack
the
command.
referees say, oh, they agree.
White lights.
All right, 200 kilos on the bar here for Damien Hugh. After him, we're going to see
Damien Hugh,
Ethan
BC
Reed.
lifter, 17 years of age. Coming here to
Damien
compete.
is 17
His favorite
years old from
powerlifting moment
BC.
or story is missing weight by 0.5 of a kilos after
That's right.
a
Let's hear it.
15-pound water cut,
Bars loaded.
and then
Let's
winning
go.
the higher weight class. I think that's pretty good. I don't know if that'd be my favorite, but I guess that's a silver lining there and still winning the heavier weight class. So let's see what Damien here does with 200 kilos.
Easy way. Tight.
All the way down, all the way up. Ooh, looks solid to me.
Well, it looked really good from my view.
And 3
Yeah, rest
white
agreed.
lights.
Looked like a really strong squat. We're going to take the bar up to 250
Damien would
kilos
also
here
like to
for
thank
Ethan
his
Reed before
mom,
we go to the
his
top of the
friends,
seconds.
and his coach,
This
Aldrin.
is classic lifting or raw lifting, so you'll notice
Ethan Reed is up
they're wearing
next,
singlets,
74
sometimes knee
sub-junior,
sleeves, sometimes belts, wrist
215
straps.
kilos.
No support or no assistive gear. Bar is loaded for Ethan.
I'm now doing my best to talk a little louder for this live stream. My mustache is making contact with the microphone. Let me know if that works. Ethan Reed is up next, 215 kilos, opening attempt, all the way from Newfoundland. Big opening squat. Up, 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 up.
Whoa, that looked good from here.
Very technical. And 2 to
2 to
1.
one is a
2
good lift.
whites,
We need
1
2 white
red.
lights for the lift
Lift
to pass.
counts.
And we are good on this. All right, we are going to go down to 152.5 kilos for Nathaniel. Renee, platform 1 has some really, they're gonna have to show us up because we had some really nice openers over here.
Chantal, it's not going to be a problem. We're going to go
Bars loaded.
And bars loaded for Nathaniel Woodward, 152 and a half kilos, second attempt. He hit his opener. Goes down, comes back up. Good strength
Looked like it
there.
worked, but still, I think, yes. we
And
will
3
see
white lights.
All right, we're going to go to 100.
Not sure what his next attempt's going to be. Might have 7.5 to 10 more kilos in.
Local boy here from Manitoba.
Up next, Manitoba's own Andrew Alden at 155 kilos, second attempt.
Bars
Andrew
loaded.
hit his opener, moved quite smooth. Let's see what happens on number 2.
And that's how you start the party. 3 white lights, deadlift, Rachel's coming up next with 115 kilos. McKenna, you're on the deck. This is 115
Gets the squat command.
3 pounds coming up here.
Let's go, Andrew. All the way down, all the way down. Oh, it's stuck a little bit. Keeps fighting. Gets up.
look like a fight, but they say
Oh,
oh,
2 to 1.
three cards
2
on
to
those, so
1.
2 to 1.
So
Not
there's
fast
there's a
lift.
yellow card that came up a 3.
I'm not 100% sure what the referee saw. I
And
wasn't looking that close, but they obviously
that
saw
that
the same
indicates
thing,
that
calling
there
a
was
three
a
card on the sides.
locking of
Knees
the
were not locked.
knees. So
Bars
he had to
loaded
lock his
for
knees out,
Chris.
whether that was at the start or the
162.5
end. I'm
kilos.
not sure, but both referees caught it.
All right, Chris missed this on his first, just on depth, not a
So now
strength thing.
Christopher
Let's get
Palfy's
behind him
up,
so he
and,
can
and
get
he's
this.
taking his opener again. He missed it. First time through, just getting low enough.
Like it. 3 white lights, way to go. Ethan is coming up next, followed by Rachel. We're going to 122.
So sometimes, you go to an event, you miss your opening attempt. You might say, I'm just going to bump the weight up if it's just on depth and then smoke my second attempt. But then there's always that risk factor that you might actually miss the lift. And if you miss the lift, you don't continue on. So Christopher went slow. Looked like he had a little dip in the
Let's
bottom
see.
to get
I
to
think it
depth.
looked better.
Let's see what the refs say. And 2 to
Well,
1.
and a 2 to 1.
That's
They
all he
do
needed.
agree.
2 to 1. So he's in.
All right, we're going to go up to 182.
If you do a local
kilos
competition
for
and
two
you're going to
counts
take
for
that
Matthew.
risk,
Following Matthew,
no
we
big
will have
deal. You just
Ryan.
drive back home. But sometimes if you've traveled, a few hundred or 1,000 kilometers to a national event, you might not want to take that risk. So he
Bars
kept the
loaded.
same number. Smart decision. Now we can move on to another one.
2 to 1. Not quite deep enough. The red card underneath.
Here comes Matt again. Matt comes out. 10 kilo increase from first to second.
135 is coming on the bar for Rachel. Yash is in the hole. On deck. Bar is loaded for Rachel. Yash is on deck.
Up, 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 up. A little bit of a grind and good to go.
And we have another good lift. Same weight, 182.5 kilos, please, for Ryan. After Ryan, we've got Magnus, and the bar is loaded.
And Ryan Ward is up next. 182.5 kilos. Ontario athlete, sub junior 83. Let's see what he's got.
Same weight on the bar, followed by Harris.
Oh, that looks smooth. That looked better than his opener. He only went up.
And no depth on that one. He'll come back and repeat it.
As smooth as it
Get
looked, it
next time.
wasn't low enough.
190 kilos on the bar, please, for Magnus. After Magnus,
So it
we are
definitely has the
Lucy
strength. I
David.
just think he needs to bear it about another inch.
Bar's loaded.
Okay, Magnus is up next, 190 kilos. Magnus, another Ontario lifter. All the way down, all the way up. 10 kilo increase from the opener. Looks good from here. See what the judges say. And
I
3
thought it
white
looked as good as
lights.
his opener, and with 3 white lights. Again, 190 kilos on the bar for David Chu. After him, we've got Damien, and the bar is loaded.
And Lily is up after Harris on deck. This is just shy of 300 pounds. The bar is loaded for Harris. Harris is from Ontario.
David Chu is up next, 190 kilos, Ontario athlete. A 7.5 kilo increase from his opener. Goes down, comes up,
And the verdict is?
and 3
We have a
white
good lift.
lights.
All right, we're going to go up to 210 kilos here for Damien. After Damien, we have Ethan. Looking pretty good over there on platform 1, I got to say.
Bar is loaded for Lily.
Bar's loaded.
Lily's from BC. She is a junior 72.
So Damien's up next here. He hit his opener with a big 200. Now he's at 210. This student's hobbies, interests, and passions are acting, film, and you guessed it, powerlifting.
Easy way.
Let's go, Damien. All the way down. Go, 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 go. Went to the
Look pretty
basement.
textbook
See what the
from last year.
referees say. 3 white
And
lights.
3 white lights.
Now that one looked a little
Lift
more
it.
tough than his opener. Not sure what he's going to do
225
next.
kilos, just shy of 500 pounds here for Ethan. After Ethan, we're going to go back to the top of thirds with Nathaniel.
For those of you used to using the big pound plates, those are 3 big.
Bar is
Now
low
we
for
got
Ethan.
4 reds on the bar for Ethan. This men's sub
Let's go,
junior
Ethan.
74. This is a big lift. Couple donuts shy of 500 pounds for Ethan. Ethan smoked his 215 opener. Let's see what he can do with this.
Easy, the judges, do they agree? Yes, they do. 3 white lights for Kate. Christina's coming up next with 147.5, followed by Elsa.
Oh, by the beard of Zeus, that looked fast.
And we have a...
And the referees, 2 to 1.
2 to 1.
They agree. That's a nice squat.
Ethan's obviously got a little bit of international experience at the very least, wearing the SBD Canada singlet. So we're going to go back to
If
the
you're
top
sitting
of
at
the
home
board
now and you're
here with
watching some of these athletes come
155
out here,
kilos.
one thing you can
Plate B,
assume
we
is
are starting the
some of their
top the
experience. So some of the
third.
athletes that come out, if they're in a
Right into
SBD
plate B
Canada
when this is
singlet,
done.
most likely they've
155
represented
kilos for
Team
Nathaniel.
Canada at an international event, whether
And
that
the
be a
bar is
world
loaded.
championship or an NAPF. Now I say most likely because there has been times where I've had friends borrow other friends' singlets and just worn them. But Ethan with a 225 squat like that, I think he's been at an international event before. Anyone on the live stream knows any better, please let me know.
Judges say yes, 3 white lights for each Christina. Elsa's coming up next, followed by Kirsten.
Okay, Nathaniel 155. He misses on his second. Let's see if he got deep
I thought
enough.
it looked better than his second. What do they say? We got
And
3
3
Good
white
work.
lights.
Elsa,
My mistake, he didn't miss it on his
Same
second.
weight
He only went up
here,
2.5 from the
155
second.
kilos for Andrew.
330 pounds. Elsa's from Quebec.
Bars loaded. Third attempts. We're going to see these guys push themselves a little bit. So let's get behind them.
Okay, Andrew up next, got his third attempt on the bar, 155 kilos. He missed this on his second attempt. Andy's goal for this contest is he's hunting down a provincial deadlift record.
The judges say 2 to 1, that's a good lift.
Oh, yeah.
Move forward. Kirsten,
Let's see what the judges say.
65.
3 white
Nice
lights.
work.
Good job,
Come
Andy.
on.
Andy would like to give a shout out and a thank you to Russell
After Chris,
Jordan Smith for coaching and handling.
380 pounds for Chris.
Bar is loaded for Kirsten.
Bars loaded. Let's go, Chris. Third attempt. Let's see it, buddy.
Okay, Christopher's up next here. We've got 172.5 kilos. Missed his opener. Smoked his second. Went up 10 kilos. Let's see what he can do with this.
On the board. 3 white lights for Jefferson. Marianne's coming up next from Quebec. 165. Then Darcy's going to finish out. Bar is loaded. Our first round of squats. Bar is loaded.
Let's go, Chris. Oh, he's grinding. He's grinding. Let's see if the judges agree he was low enough. 2 to 1. Yeah, good enough.
He had that
So
ball
sometimes what
going
happens
up
is
to the rear in his
if you're
first
sitting
one,
there on the
he
live
came
stream and you're watching or you're at the
Third,
meet
that's
and you're
nice to
watching
see.
some of the referees, and
182.5
sometimes you notice that one
Ryan.
might throw out a depth on one side and
After
the other
Ryan,
one
we're
might
gonna go
not
to
throw out.
Matthew.
It's not necessarily that, one is right and one was wrong. Sometimes what happens with lifting and life in general is
Bar is loaded
everybody's
for
built with
Ryan.
specific anthropometrics, specific anatomy, and then sometimes what happens is you might actually have a hip hiked higher than the other. So if you've heard of someone who says, oh, I got one leg longer or shorter than the other, sometimes just for muscle development, tightness, one side could be higher than the other. So a side judge might see a depth issue on one side and the other one might not. Ryan Ward, 182.5 kilos, sub-junior 83. Missed that on depth for number 2. Strength was definitely there. Let's see what the referees say. 3 white
Red
lights.
It's a good lift. Okay, guys, we already have all successful third attempts. Like, holy
Ethan,
smokes,
I just got
keep this
updated here
going.
from Lucas
Provincial record
Wiseman.
attempt,
Ethan
187.5
podium,
kilos from
bronze medal at
Matthew.
IPF World Sub-Junior
Ontario
74.
provincial
That
record.
makes a lot of sense.
Bar
Thank you,
is
Lucas.
loaded. Let's go.
3 times body weight, kettlebells. 3 times body weight.
Now we got Matthew Duvry with a provincial
That is
record
impressive.
attempt.
3 times body weight. and it's
187.5
9 in the morning.
kilos for this Sub-Junior 74.
We have a provincial record attempt over here.
All right, we're back to the top of the order. Bar is loaded for Brienne. McKenna's on deck. Rachel, you're in the hole. We have 120 kilos on the bar. Brienne smoked her opener.
Goes down. Oh!
Good job, spotters. Nice
It
effort
just
out
looked
there,
from
Matthew.
my
Get
point of
next
view that
time,
Matthew
buddy.
changed his descent
All right, we are
speed
going
from
to
third
295
compared to his first and his
kilos.
second.
David, we're gonna see
And
Magnus.
sometimes that's not the best idea, but sometimes you can't plan for that. You have a little bit
Well,
of
we
weight
give
on
our
the
sponsors
body,
and
and all of a
loaders a
sudden you
big set of
change the way you go
applause
down.
for
Not on
that nice
purpose. It
catching
might be a
our
safety
lifters today.
factor,
Let's give a shout out
but he
Bar
didn't
is
have
loaded
any
to our
pop in the
platform
bottom like he
sponsor,
did on
Industry
1 and 2.
Products,
So
SBD Canada. I'm not
if
sure
you're going to
which
put it
one.
all on the bar for a record, why not do it at the national championship?
Harris. Bar is loaded here for McKenna.
David Chu is up now, 195 kilos, sub-junior 66.
Let's get this, McKenna. Come on.
Oh, he's fighting, he's fighting, he's fighting, he's fighting.
That was a good fight.
What do the judges say?
I don't
2-1,
think
good
you could have
lift.
put a fly on that
All
bar.
right,
That was a
200
grinder.
kilos here, please, for Magnus.
But well done, Mr. Chu.
You'll have one more chance to come back and get that.
Bar is loaded. Let's go, Magnus.
Followed by Harris and then Rachel.
So David Chu is 1 out of 2 athletes right now. After making that squat, that puts him about 40 kilos ahead of number 2. He's got the higher opening bench and the higher opening deadlift. You could say he's in control. Now we've got Magnus at 200 kilos. Magnus is currently sitting in second place. Hits that 200, puts him into first.
I
We'll
think
see
it
what
looked
Damien
excellent,
can
and
do
they
next.
agree. That was a nice squat. A lot of work there. Good work. 212.5 kilos, please, for Damien. After Damien, we have Ethan. And then
Okay,
we are
Damien's up
rolling
next to
into
12 and a half.
White
Damien hits this. It puts him in a 12 and a half kilo lead over Magnus after the squats. This is only 2.5 kilo bump from
Bars
his
loaded.
second. So maybe the last one he felt was a little bit heavy. Maybe he's just trying to add every kilo he can to get ahead.
Lift for Rachel.
I mean, Damien's the bigger bencher of the flight. He's the biggest deadlifter of the flight. His forecasted score is the highest.
Rachel and
Let's see what happens here.
Harris is a 53 kilo junior from
I
Ontario.
just noticed Damien lifts with no belt.
Bar is loaded for Harris.
Come on, Damien. Oh, he's got depth. He's got depth. Fight, 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 fight. Calm, collected. Does not look like a sub-junior out there. Well
I think
done.
that's like my favorite.
Well
part of
done.
lifting is watching
Little
people
fist pound for the
really
refs.
and get it. Oh, platform one.
That
We
never
have a
hurts.
Canadian national record attempt. 233
Okay, Ethan is
kilos
back
for
at it.
Reed.
He's looking to break the current Canadian record that is 232.5 kilos. And he's chipping it to put it at 233 kilos. So after his 225 that he did previously, I think it's definitely in his wheelhouse.
We're just going to double check the bar is loaded properly because we want this record to count. Bar is loaded. Let's go, Ethan, Canadian national record attempt.
National record attempt here, bronze medalist at IPF Worlds. Come on, Ethan, let's get this. Let's go, Ethan.
Down and up. In the rack safely, 2 to 1. Good.
Oh, he's going, he's going, he's going, he's going, he's going, he's going.
Is that a new record?
Let's see what the referees say.
It
3 white lights. Well done, Ethan. Newfoundland, you have another Canadian record.
All right, 170 kilos on the bar, please, for Alan, and we are moving right into flight B. After Alan, we will see Coleman.
Apparently, the previous record was 229, as I was just informed by Not Strong. So he chose to surpass that by 4 kilos. When you look to break a record, you can pretty much pick the number you want to beat it by. So that concludes the A flight. Now we are going into our B flight here.
Bar is loaded for Alan.
We
are
have
starting
Alan
flight
Chung
B.
coming out. Opening attempt, 170 kilos. Alan is from Alberta.
A girl good fight.
66
Those
junior
ladies are
raw.
looking pretty strong over there on platform 1.
Bar is loaded for Yash. From Alberta. Junior 59 kilo class. A nice 10 kilo jump.
And no lift. I think 3 cards were
And no
for
lift.
these.
We got a blue, we got a yellow, and 3 reds. So blue usually indicates that something went
So
up
he'll
and
come back and get
down.
on his second
And then yellows
172.5
indicate
kilos here
knees
for Coleman.
or something not being locked out, standing
Bar
full
is
extension.
loaded.
So I just don't think he had his knees
After
locked
Coleman,
out.
I think it's Set Veer. I'm sorry if I have pronounced
So
that
Coleman is
incorrectly.
up next. 172.5 kilos. Coleman comes all the way from British Columbia. Might have had a little bit of a temperature shock change. Here being in Winnipeg, -9 this morning. Has a conversation, mid-setup, and then absolutely smokes that. Coleman, that's a nice final warm-up.
And
2 to 1.
2 to 1. All right, 175 kilos, please, for Satveer. After him, we are going to see Cameron. Bar is loaded.
I just found a platform one. If you want to run that over, the rest I
Manitoba in the house.
Yeah, these are all mine.
3 white
make
lights.
sure
Way to go, Kate.
that our platform one.
Coming up next, Coleman Elsa.
Say platform one. Yeah, okay. So there's the trigger. If they get one, because someone brought over one, so if they get one, it says 2.
Nice 7.5 kilo jump for a Bars loaded. Let's go, Christina.
Satveer Ray, 175 from BC. 3 reds
And is it a
to
good
go with.
opener?
3
Yes.
white lights. Opening attempt is good.
Excellent. All right, let's keep these white lights going. 185 kilos for Cameron. After Cameron, we have Owen. Bar is loaded.
Okay, Cameron up next, 185 kilos, an Ontario lifter. Ontario has been the top province at nationals for the majority of the last decade. You could say it's from the talent. You could say it's from the population. I believe Ontario is the highest percent of membership base in all of the CPU. Regardless, Ontario does have some pretty good lifters, as does Manitoba, as does Newfoundland, as
Looks like
does
he
New
made light work of
Brunswick.
that opener,
The
and
CPU is
we
really
had a 2-1 call.
on
It's
the
good
world
lift.
stage now with some of the quality of lifting we have. And it
We
starts
are
right here
going
with these
185 kilos
sub-juniors.
For Owen. After Owen, we've got Anakin. We need our head referee.
So
He's
Owen is
important.
up now, 185 kilos.
Bars loaded. Lifters have 1 minute from the time bar is loaded to get the
Okay,
squat
here comes
command.
Owen.
Here's coming up, followed by Marianne. We will be finishing
Owen looks pretty fired up here.
squats with Darcy.
I mentioned on social media earlier that I'm sole commentating. So if there's anybody in the venue or in the area that would like to sit down and join me, I've got a second mic. Let's go, Owen. Goes down, muscles it up.
Looks
Should be
good for
happy with
my
that.
view, and they say
On the board, 2 to 1.
2 to 1. Good lift.
Gets a yellow card. I think they were looking at his knees.
45 kilos for Anakin. After him, we'll see Jacob. Sounded like a good squat over there, Renee.
What's that?
Sounded like a good squat over there.
All right, we got Marianne and Darcy. Bars loaded for Marianne. This is 155 kilos, guys. 385 pounds.
Okay, now we just put on a few more plates. We're now up at
Bar is loaded
245,
for
540
Anakin.
pounds
245
for
kilos.
Anakin Kirkbride, another Ontario lifter. So some of the province have initiated some coaching programs to help with the athletes of the national event. And I'm proud to say Ontario has stepped up with that initiative as well. This is our first year running a coaching
I didn't know
program.
Gino spoke a lot
So
of French.
behind the big platform, behind the big banners, you will see some Ontario coaches handling some of our athletes.
All right, Darcy's coming up. His last one was over 3 times body weight.
Goes to the hole, smokes it.
Well, that was a fast
Coach
squat.
Luke Tremblay is there helping him out. I think I see Luke Homer, some of the Ontario
And we have
coaches.
2-1. It's a good lift.
And so he's on the board.
All
2
right.
whites, 1 red.
This is going to be some type of a record attempt because it's 245.5, and as soon as we have an increment that is not 2.5, we know it's a record attempt. We're going to wait. The screen will flash and tell us which it is. And then this is a small flight, so after him, we go back to the top of the flight for squat 2.
Jacob Alexander's up next at 245.5 kilos. Oh, 245.5.
Do we know what
This
kind
is
of a record
a
attempt
record
this
of some sort. See if we can find out what kind of record this is. It's not up on the board.
Bar is loaded. Let's go. 245.5 kilos, record attempt.
Opening attempt, Canadian record.
All right, guys. Platform 2. found
Sub-junior.
Two over here for platform 1 because
Sub-junior.
we have a girl over here who needs this squat to stay in the meet. Let's go, McKenna.
Let's go, Jacob.
Just drop it down. You got it. Come on.
Wow.
Wow, the speed on that. See if it satisfies the judges. 2 to 1.
That was a
2
good
to 1.
squat, Jacob. 2 to 1. Nice work. 170
So not
kilos.
bad to make the road trip from
Alan's gonna
Ontario
take
to
this
Manitoba.
again.
Opening
Get ahead
attempt,
this time.
Canadian record. Now we're dropping the weights back down, 170 kilos for Alan Chung. Alan missed this on his opener. Let's see what's going to happen on his second attempt. Again, as I mentioned before, there's different
All right, so
strategies that
Alan
athletes and
missed this on
coaches
his
might want to
first.
use
Let's
at a
get
national
100, guys. He can get
championship.
it on his second attempt.
Alan
And he
Chung
can
missed
go
his
up for
opener.
his
He had the
third.
option to increase it or take the same weight again,
Stay
and he's
in
not
the
going to
meet, you
risk it. He's
must
going to take the
complete at
same
least
weight.
one lift
So he
in
gets
each
on the
discipline.
board, and that secures that he's going to be able to at least bench press.
Brand's looking to go 3 for 3 on her squats. Rachel, you're on deck. Harris is in
Bar
the
is loaded for Alan.
Come on, Alan.
Let's go, Alan. Make sure you lock it up.
push, push, push.
Alan is a junior 66 kilo lifter.
Way to go. Rachel's coming up next at 135. Followed by Harris and then Lily. Just a smidge
Alan goes to the basement with that one. That should be 4 white
And
lights
let's see
on
what they say
depth.
this time. We have 3 white lights this time. Nice work. He's on the board.
Okay, Alan's on the board in a battle
182.5
out of 3
for
athletes in his
Coleman. After
division.
Coleman, we have Setvir.
So next we have 182.5 kilos for Coleman, the sub-junior 105
Bar is
athlete.
loaded.
Hit his opener 172.5. Put it up 10 kilos.
Go, go, push, 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 push. Good grind, up.
Coleman goes all the way down, comes all the way up.
That looks like a textbook
Looks like he does
squat.
that with
What do
ease.
they say? Yeah, 3 white lights. All right, 185 kilos here for Setvir. After him, we are going to go to Cameron.
Bar is loaded for Harris.
Bars loaded, platform 2.
Satvir Ray, 185 kilos. Increased by 10 kilos from opener to second.
Push, 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 go. Oh!
Satvir is in second place currently and is forecasted for a 535 total after deadlifts, while Cameron is forecasted for a 542.5. So we might see a little battle between these two. Satvir goes down, stays with it,
Rachel's on deck. Yeah, she's in the
Some patience and determination, and
and
he gets
3
it.
white
A good
lights.
lift. 195 kilos for Cameron. After Cameron, we have Owen.
Hey guys, it is SBD Canada. They're not here yet.
Here comes Cameron, 195.
Bar is loaded. And you get our shirts. Strength, belief, determination. SBD.
I thought it stood for something else.
Cam's
Well,
got
you
some
know what, to
fans
be
in the
fair,
crowd here.
How long
A
did it
few
take you to
extra
figure out
phones
SBD
were
stood
just
for
pulled
squat,
out.
bench, deadlift?
I believe Cam might be a band of barbells lifter.
Good job, guys. All the way up, all the way. Good job. Good job, spotters. Good job. Stay with the barbell.
Get up, buddy. Get up. Get up. Oh, that looked good. Let's see what the judges say.
And they say
And
white lights,
2
is
whites,
a good
1 red.
lift.
Bars loaded for
Weight stays the same, 195 kilos for Owen. After Owen, we've got Anakin.
Cash, you're on deck. Paige is in the
Bars
hole.
loaded.
Owen Smith, a 195 is next. It is nice to see another double platform. This seems to be the standard now for any national championship that the CPU is putting on or the CPU is representing. We have our meet directors, Matt Bowen, Susan Hayward, Manitoba Powerlifting. Beautifully equipped double platform, sponsored by Lico.
Lights. 3 for Rian.
BC lifter Owen Smith, 195 kilos.
Followed by Paige and Christina.
All right, the referee
And
saw
he
an
was just asked to
infraction, so they didn't
re-rack
drop
the
their
bar.
hands to give him the,
I don't think he had his
cue
knees
to
fully
start the
extended
lift.
or
They
locked
asked him
out.
to
He has
re-rack.
13
Given
seconds
him
left.
the
Owen's got to
corrective
speed it up here.
feedback,
He
and
must
has-
get the squat command before time
He
runs
needs
out.
to get this. He needs
7,
to get the squat
6,
command here pretty
5,
quick. Get set.
4, 3, 2, 1. Ooh, right at the timer. Stands up.
Well, he cut that close. So how about we never get a
Ooh,
squat
2 to
command
1, he
like
gets
that?
it. 2
No
white,
second
1
time
red.
ever again. But he got
So every
the
lifter has up to
So
60
that is
seconds to get the
humbly
start
impressive.
command of the exercise.
260
And maybe
kilos on
Owen
the
just
bar, please,
wanted
for
every
Anakin.
second on that platform.
Guys, we have a misload. We have a misload.
And that's a good lift. Paige is second with 155. From Manitoba.
So Anakin's up next here. And he went up 14.5 kilos, 573 pounds, 260. Sub-junior 120 athlete. Cam is low in his weight class, so he's just looking to solidify a total, book his ticket to IPF World Championships. So if you're sitting at home and you're wondering how do you get to an international event, well, if you want to go to the World Championships, you must win your class at a national
Bar
championships
is loaded.
first. That is step
260
one.
kilos, you guys. 573 pounds for a sub-junior.
So big second attempt for Anakin. Let's see what he does with it.
Come on, bud.
Bar is loaded for Christina.
Nice and easy.
Goes down, comes up, tons of strength. Let's see if he got
And
deep
what do they
enough.
say?
2 to 1.
2 to 1.
Good
It's a
enough.
lift. He's wearing, talking about SVD Canada being our platform sponsor, he's wearing the new Eclipse line t-shirt that I like to call the Star Wars SVD line. All right, 260 kilos for the 120
Jacob
plus
is
Canadian
now
record
coming
attempt.
in for a
So we could
sub-junior
have
120
260
plus Canadian
disqualified.
record
Bar
attempt.
is loaded, but that was the 120 kilo weight class. This is the sub-junior 120 plus Canadian record attempt. He just set it. He is now going to increase it.
So Jacob, my mistake. Jacob is the one who had the Canadian record attempt on his opener. Now he's increasing the attempt by 15 kilos. Let's see what Jacob can do. Goes down, comes up. The referees say 3 white lights.
I got a text that told me that
2
he's
for 2 on
17 years
records.
old, and look at
Setting
that
himself up for a
squat.
pretty good day.
All right, we're going to start third attempts. 177.5 kilos for Alan.
Now we're going into third
After
attempts here.
Alan
Might be a
will
little bit
go
of
to set here.
strategy involved with Alan. There's a few classes here with multiple athletes. So Alan missed his opener at 170,
loaded
took it for a second
Alan.
attempt. Now he just bumped it up by 7.5 kilos for this junior 66. Let's see what he can do.
She may have missed that lift, Renee, but that was some heart in that squat. Holy.
Do we have depth on one side? Bar is loaded for Kirsten, Alberta. This is just shy of 400 pounds.
And what do they say?
And 2 to 1.
Good lift.
That's good. Builds on his total. Currently sitting in third place.
187.5 kilos
Next,
on the
we've
bar,
got
please,
Satvir
for
Ray.
Satvir. After him, we
He's
have
2 for 2
Coleman.
on the squat so far. Let's see what happens next. Satvir is 21 years
Bar
old.
is loaded.
His favorite powerlifting
Let's go.
moment
Switch
or
to the
story,
forward attempt.
waiting for check-in at his first competition. And he was so nervous, he started crying. His favorite time. Okay, then. His goal for this contest is to win his division.
Good job, guys. All right, Marianne.
Oh, just too heavy.
Good job, spotters. Nice effort out there, Satvir.
So that affects Satvir's forecasted total so far.
190 kilos
He
for
is the
Coleman.
biggest deadlifter.
After Coleman, we'll see Owen.
No, his second biggest deadlifter after Cameron. So it'll be interesting to see when it comes down to it because he's going to be behind by maybe about 12.5 to 15 kilos.
For 84 junior. Awesome.
Bars loaded for Coleman.
Coleman's up next.
Feels like it's like you're good.
So Coleman taking a 7.5 kilo jump from his second to third. Goes all the way down. Gets a little bit stuck at the halfway mark or starts to slow down, but he finishes the lift, and he's 3 for 3 on the squats. Most common area where people tend to start to lose any speed from the squat is always about 2 inches above depth. So that's where the body creates some bit of stretch shortening cycle or a rebound. They get to that point, and then they tend to lose everything or strength. He got past that point, got about 3/4 of the way up, and then struggled a little bit. So he just needs a little bit more extension strength in his training, and he should be able to blast through that
Bar is
position.
loaded on platform 2 for Owen.
The bar is loaded for Darcy. Let's get behind him. This is the
Let's go, Owen. Get under it. Set it up.
So Owen
Walk
Smith
it up,
used
Owen.
every
Let's
second
go.
on his last attempt there, took the full 60. Now he's going up 7.5 kilos for his third attempt. And he's already been warned a couple times to lock those knees out. Let's see if he can do that this time. Oh, he gets a start command, squat command, and
judges say new national record.
goes down, muscles it up.
So we have a new national record on platform 1.
And this BC lifter
And a
is
very good
3 for
attempt
3 on the
platform 2.
squats. Good job, Owen.
205 kilos, please, for Cameron. After Cameron, we'll see Anakin.
No, we have 20 minutes to warm up.
205 kilos on platform 2.
So now 205 for
451
Cameron.
pounds.
This junior,
Bar is loaded.
66
Let's
kilo.
Go, Cameron.
So Cameron is sitting in first place right now. With this squat here, that'll give him a 17.5 kilo lead over second place. If he misses this, that gives him a 7.5 kilo lead. So this could really secure confidence going into those deadlifts if he gets this. Come on, Cam. Get up, get up, get up. Oh!
Good effort out there, Cameron.
Just
Thanks,
too much
Sponsors.
today for Cam.
All right, we're going to go to work here. That's the
So Cam
royal
now
lead.
is a
The sponsors
7.5
and loaders
kilo
are actually gonna
lead
do all the work, and I'm not going to do any of it.
over second place Ray. Be interesting as we go through the benches. Makes and misses are really going to determine what happens as we go into the deadlifts.
For a sub-junior 120 lifter, Anakin. Remember I said sub-junior 14 to 18? Bar is loaded, Anakin. Let's see it.
So here comes Anakin now. He's loaded up 600 pounds on that bar. Got the 4 reds, blue, black, silver collar, 272 and a
Go,
half
Anakin.
kilos.
600 pounds. Let's see it, buddy.
Good speed. Dipping, it's dipping. He stays with it. And let's see what the referees say. 600 pounds is yours, Anakin.
I'm
Nice
not
squat,
sure how
nice
he
squat.
got that, but like, wow. He had to make it like twice as hard for himself, I guess, just to really prove to us he could do it.
Okay,
All right,
so now we're going to take
272.5
272 and a half.
Canadian national record attempt in the sub-junior 120
Same
plus
weight.
category.
Canadian record
He
attempt
set
for
it on his
Jacob
first attempt.
Alexander.
He increased it on his second attempt.
Let's see if he can
and
get
now
3
the bar is
records
loaded.
for
He
3
is going
attempts.
to get it one more time. 600 pounds, Jacob.
£600, Chantal?
600 pounds. This will be our second one.
Wow. Let's go, Jacob.
Gets a squat command, goes to the basement, fighting, fighting, fighting. Stands up, see what the referees
And they
say.
say
3 white lights, another Canadian record.
that is excellent.
Okay,
All
so
right.
that concludes the squat
Sponsors,
for
we're gonna
platform
unload
2,
this bar. We are
session
gonna
1.
set it for
We are
bench,
going
and then
to
we are
take
going to
about a 10-minute break, and then
and
we'll
we will be
come back for the
bench
bench press.
Lifters, flight A, bench, platform 2, you have 7 minutes to change opening attempts. Platform 2, you have 2.5 minutes until we start. Can I please get my referees, spotters, loaders to platform 2? We have under 2 minutes to lifting. We are going to open our bench presses with Andrew. After Andrew, we will go to Nathaniel and then Magnus. Before we get started here, a couple of things that make the powerlifting competition bench press a little bit different than your regular gym bench press. They are going to lift the bar out or have it helped out with them. They are going to have to hold it fully locked out, prove that they are in control of the bar and they are in an appropriate position, head down, feet down, butt down, and fully locked out to get the start command. They are then going to bring the bar motionless to their chest. It must be motionless before they will get a press command. And then they must press it up to a fully locked out position, maintaining that body position, feet down, butt down, head down. So there is no touch and go, there is no bounce in the competition bench press. And if you miss any of those 3 commands, that is a yellow light or a red light with a yellow card. 8 seconds to lifting, 90 kilos on the bar for Andrew. Bar is loaded for Andrew. Platform 2, we are started.
2.5 minutes between your opener, platform 1.
Okay, welcome back. We are now starting off the bench portion for our junior and sub-junior males here, 66, 74, 83, 93, 105, 120, 120 plus. Andrew Alden is starting us off here at 90 kilos, this Manitoba lifter, sub-junior, no handoff. And smoke show, easy opener.
And it's a good lift. He showed you everything I just pointed out, right? Fully locked
So
out,
this session's sponsor is
motionless,
SBD
and
Canada,
waiting for
Squat Bench Dead Canada.
All
If
right,
you
102.5
are in
kilos on the bar
powerlifting,
for
you
Nathaniel.
definitely know what
Nathaniel,
SBD is all about. SBD is outfitting Canada's top lifters for many, many, many years, from belt support, sleeves, singlets, socks, wrist wraps, SBD headbands.
Bar is
They've been
loaded,
major
Nathaniel.
sponsorships for Best Lifter Awards at tons of local, regional, provincial championships. And you'll notice a lot of the athletes here are coming out with the SBD apparel. They've got a booth set up here at the event. They've got lots of stuff available for you. They got some new gear. They got some old gear. So if you haven't already checked them out near at the venue, be sure to go to. If you're on the live stream, go to their website, see what they've got, see what's on clearance. Get that birthday present, get that Christmas present early. Nathaniel Woodward, in his
And
SBD
what did they
singlet,
say? We
hits
have a
his
good
opener.
lift.
3 white lights.
All right, 105 kilos on the bar, please, for Magnus. After Magnus, we will go to Matthew.
And now we're going to Magnus, 105 kilos, 231.49 pounds. So again, I mentioned before, I'm solo here on the live stream. I have a second microphone if someone is in the venue and they want to come join me. You don't need any experience. All we're going to do is have conversations. If you're in your hotel room and you're watching this and you want to come down, you know, I got a seat beside me. I got ice water at the table. If you're going to come, bring me a coffee. I take it black.
105 kilos, opening attempt.
Magnus 105 gives minimal instruction to the handoff guy. Let's see what happens.
Looked like he made light work of that.
Smoke show. Easy opener.
107.5 kilos, please, for Matthew. Following him, we'll go to David. Bar is loaded for Matthew.
So Matt's coming out now at 107.5 kilos. Matt went 2 for 3 on his squats, missing that provincial record for his third attempt. Matt is sitting at a forecasted 430 total, but he's got a 140 deadlift written down. Now, when you're sitting back and you're watching someone's opening attempt deadlift at 140 kilos and they're at the national level as a sub-junior 74, it's safe to say that that's probably not his
Looks like a
opener.
beauty from here, and
Now,
they
why would
say
he put that there? It's possible that he could have an
we're on a
injury.
roll here,
Maybe
Renee.
he sustained an injury on that third attempt missed squat, so he dropped down the
110
opener.
kilos for David.
Possibly he's
After
going to
David,
change
we
that
got
last
Chris.
minute for a little bit of a strategic bump. Who knows? But
Bar is
he
loaded.
is
Let's go.
1 for 1 on the bench. David Chu is coming out next. David Chu is having a perfect day so far, 3 for 3 on squats, 110 opener. Gives how he likes his handoffs to our volunteers. If you're out there and you're watching the live stream, listening to the live stream, if you're in the crowd, if you're in the hotel room, if you're at your province and you're watching his national championships, if you ever get the chance to come down and actually volunteer and help with the sport, I highly, highly, highly suggest it. This sport is run by volunteers.
And three-way lights.
There's
Keep
tons
it
of
going.
positions for
All right,
anything
up
you
to
want to do,
120
and I
kilos for
guarantee
Chris.
you can be
After
shown,
Chris,
taught, and educated to be in any position you want to. If you want to spot and load and you've never done it, they will show you how. If you want to sit at the table, handle cards, get on the mic with me, they will
Bars
show you how.
loaded for
If
Chris.
you want to sit in that chair and alienate yourself from everyone in the lifting community except for other referees, they can train you, and you can also be a ref. Christopher's coming out, 120 kilo bench, sub-junior 74. Chris went 2 for 3 on the squats. Let's see what happens here.
For McKenna, let's get started. 55 kilos on the bar.
Good catch, spotters, and 3 white lights. It's a good lift. Weight stays the same for Ethan. After Ethan, we've got Ryan.
And a good lift. Ethan's coming out now. This Newfoundlander has the Canadian squat record. Now he's coming out at 120 kilo
Bars
bench
loaded
press
for
for the
Ethan. Let's go,
sub-junior
Ethan.
74. Let's go, Ethan. Ethan's sitting with a 573 kilo forecasted total so far with the opening deadlift and this bench press. Ooh, I think he's got a lot left in him
And
there.
they say,
I think an
Three white
easy
lights, it's a good
7.5
lift.
to 10 kilo bump might
all
even
right,
be
let's keep this going.
required after that.
7.5 kilos here for Ryan. And then our last lifter in flight A will be Damien.
52.5 kilos. Bar is loaded for Brian.
Bar is loaded
Ryan
for
Ward
Ryan.
is up
Let's
next,
go.
127.5 kilos. Opening attempt. Ryan went 2 for 3 on the squats. Ryan has just been asked to replace the bar by the head referee. The head referee told him
So as we
elbows.
saw in one of
What
the
he means
squats,
by that
he's
is
given,
Ryan's
chance
elbows
to
are not
replace it
locked.
or
You
redact
must
it and
be
get
in a
set up
locked or
again, 'cause there
extended
was an
elbow
incorrection
position
the
before you
referees
can
were
get
seeing.
the start command on bench press. Now side referees agree. Head referee gives him the start command, brings it down. Little bobble in the bottom. He's hitting the safety. He's got the rack
And let's see
command.
what they say.
And it's a good
We have
lift,
2
2 to
white
1.
lights. Good lift. Way to recover
So the
that.
rules are you are
137.5
allowed to actually hit the pegs there on the way up of the bench press as long as it does not aid in the
for
lift.
Damien. And then we
So
go
that
back
is
to
from
the
our
top of the
technical
order
rule
with
books. You
Andrew.
can make contact with that point, again, as long as it doesn't help the lifter. Now, if anyone out there knows how to actually help the bench press by smashing the bar into a peg, I would love to know, just for pure interest. Damien's coming out now with a 303-pound bench. He's got a big smile on his face. This guy looks excited and happy to be here. Let's see what happens.
Easy weight, Damien. Thanks, Mommy.
Mom's in the crowd. Told him easy weight. He responded, thanks, Mummy. Lets it sink and smokes it.
And
They don't give the white lights till you
3
sit
white
up on the
lights.
bench.
And as a
He's happy
cover,
for
I'm gonna
that.
give him a 4th white light.
Nice lift.
All right, we're going to go back to the top of the order. 97.5 kilos for Andrew. We see lots of green on our board. I also
Andy's
see
up
lots of
next
green
here.
over there on platform 1, Renee. Lots of
Andy
green
hit his
over there.
opener. Now he's on his
Lots of
second
green over
attempt.
here. Bench is shaping up to be something pretty awesome.
Andy's occupation is a retail sales clerk. One of the interesting things about powerlifting is we're all here for one commonality, same interest, pursuit of
Bars loaded
excellence,
for
to be
Andrew.
better as an athlete, get stronger, move more weight. But everyone comes from such vast backgrounds, differences. It's really nice to you sit down, you have conversations, you get to meet people. Some people are students, some people are retired. Some people are hard in their careers, people are family people. Like, it's really interesting when you sit down at a table of powerlifters for breakfast and you go around, you find out just how different everyone is. But the one thing that brings us all together is powerlifting. And Andrew is 2 for 2 on the bench
Oh,
press.
man, I like all these white lights. All right, 107.5 kilos for Nathaniel. After Nathaniel, we'll see Magnus.
Rachel is coming up next. 72.5 kilos. Followed by Paige. Bar is loaded for Rachel. Paige, you're on deck. Marianne's in the hole.
Bar is loaded for Nathaniel. Platform 2.
Okay, Nathaniel, Manitoba lifter. Bench number 2 went up 5 kilos from his opener. Let's see how this moves. He's got to set those feet. Drives it back and up. Bar's a little bit uneven,
Good fight, and they
but
say
he's able to work with it.
more white lights.
And a good lift.
112.5 kilos, please, for Magnus. After Magnus, we will go to Matthew. Bars loaded for Magnus.
Loaded for Paige.
Magnus is coming out now. Magnus is having a pretty good day. He has not missed a lift yet. And CPU's new VP, Gabe Festing, gives the press command and 3 white lights.
253 pounds. After Matthew, we will go to David.
So now we got the
Bar
bar
is
load up to
loaded for
115
Matthew.
kilos for Matthew. Matthew, another Ontario lifter. He's coming out. He bumped it up 7.5 kilos from his opener.
Pretty textbook, 3 white lights. All right, we're going up to 85 kilos for Darcy. Bar is loaded, our newly minted national record holder.
Keep going, Matthew. Keep going. And that's a good lift.
Look like some work, but they say 3 white lights. All right,
Matt's
we're gonna
hobbies,
keep it
interests, and
rolling.
passions
Same
are playing
115
NHL
kilos for
20
David. Gonna tighten those collars,
and
change those
watching
back heights.
anime.
Easy work with his opener, 3 white lights. Same way for Christina, all that here.
Bars loaded. Let's go, David.
Loaded.
Okay, David Chu is up next, 115 kilos. Okay, tight setup. Torso's nice and high, elbows extended out. Oh, right arm dipping. Keep going, keep going. And good. So he had a
And
good setup, but he had a lot more
3 white
push
lights.
off one side than the other, and then the bar just dipped down.
Extension anymore, as long as the bar doesn't come back
So we'll
down,
see if
is
that
good.
increases as the weight goes up.
So we are going to go to 125
From my angle here, I'm at an oblique angle, so I can't see the symmetry on the bar. But sometimes when that happens with a lifter, they're just not gripping the bar evenly. They got one hand moved over on one side, so they're actually exerting more force on one side of the bar. If they're
So
even
are we.
and they're set up middle of the
Holy
bench and everything is
guys.
symmetrical
This is an
and you
impressive
see the
bench
bar
press.
do
The bar
that,
is loaded
usually
platform two.
there is a strength discrepancy from one side to the other. And that can be corrected with specific exercises. So now we got Christopher. Bench number 2, 125 kilos. 5 kilo jump from his opener. His opener moved quite well. Let's see what happens now.
And that's a good one there. All right, we're going to finish our first round of benches here at the action on the 3.5. Bar is loaded. Back to the top of the order. McKenna.
Slow descent, slow ascent. Go, go, go.
Very slow, very controlled, and they say 2 white lights. It is
He got 2. He got a blue card there.
127.5
So a blue card usually represents on the
kilos
bench press
for
that there's some
Ethan.
up and down
After
movement of the
Ethan,
bar.
we will go to Ryan,
Always easier to see
and
being the
then
head
Damien.
judge and the side judges. It'll be interesting to
Bar
see
is
what he does
loaded.
for his third attempt. I don't think he's got a
Gabe, I
lot
can pay
left.
attention.
So I would expect him to go up only 2.5 kilos. So here comes Mr. Reed. He increased his first to second by 7.5. That was one of my predictions, just based on bar speed. Let's see how this moves for him.
McKenna, Rachel, Brianne.
He's got a pretty comfortable lead after these benches in that squat. So I think just to secure his spot to Worlds, he just has to make sure he doesn't miss any deadlifts. And that's easy. Yeah, I see him going 132 and a half,
Really good bench press.
maybe
2 white
135
lights, 2 to 1.
for his third attempt.
132.5
That moved very
kilos
smoothly.
For Ryan, just shy of 300 pounds here for a sub-junior 83, and the bar is loaded.
So Ryan Ward's coming out now. Ryan's got a big bench here, second attempt. 132 and a half. Ryan took a 5 kilo jump, hit his opener.
And that's a good lift for McKenna. Rachel coming in half 12 up, Brianne, and then Elsa.
Oh, yeah. Oh!
Lost the
So you can see he had so much momentum coming off the chest. He pushed back so far that he just overpressed it. He literally did too much work. He pressed too hard. Lost the line of the bar and it went back to the right. So if you remember on his second attempt, he actually hit the peg or the hook on the bench, and he was heading in that direction on this one here. So the strength is there. He's just got to own the positioning. So Damien's coming out now. He's going for provincial record attempt at 145 kilos. He's fired up. Mom's fired up. Let's see what happens here. Calls his own shot. Got his hips down. It's going. That right side. Stay with it, Damien. Stay with it, Damien.
It was a fight, but they say.
And the referees say 3 white lights. Got himself provincial record. Well done, Damien.
All right. Top of the thirds. 102.5 kilos here for Andrew. Flight B heads up. We're starting third attempts. We got some good bench juju in here, I think, Renee. Look at this. I don't really know what juju means. I just hear people use it. I am an M1 after all.
Sleepy 502 on the live stream asks, where's my boy Andy? Andy's up next at 102.5 kilos, 225.97
Bar is loaded for
pounds.
Andrew. We're starting
Manitoba's
third
own
attempts.
83 sub-junior lifter. Andy's hit his other benches so far. Took a 5 kilo increase. Let's see if he can go 3 for 3 on the bench. Oh, not today,
Just a bit
Andy.
too much today.
Got that bar about
All
1 to
right,
2 inches off the
110
chest, and then
kilos
gravity said,
for
nope.
Nathaniel. After Nathaniel, he'll be followed by Matthew. All right, remember, third attempts, this is where people are going to go all out, see what they can do. They want to put kilos on the board for their total. They might be going for some PRs.
So third attempt benches here. This is a tough part here because the bench press with an increase of only 2.5 kilos for some of the athletes here, they push those second attempts pretty hard. So we'll see what happens with Nathaniel here. He opened at 102.5. Bar was a little bit off. Went 107.5. You could see it amplified as it was leaning towards one side. So now he's going up just 2.5 kilos. Let's see if he's got the strength for that extra 5 pounds. Oh, put some effort and some muscle into that. And 2 to 1, 2 reds, 1 white. Got the yellow or the blue card, number 2, meaning the bar went up and down. So the bar must go in a ascent. It must go in a straight, sorry, not a straight line, but the bar must continually move upward. It cannot go down at any point during the lift once the press command is said.
Bar is loaded. Flight B, you have 4 lifters to change opening attempts. I'm dancing for it.
Okay, Matthew's coming out. He's 2 for 2 on the bench. So far, for all the 3 attempts have been missed. Let's see what happens with Matt. Oh, keep her going, Matt. Keep her going, Matt. Keep her going, Matt. Keep her going. Oh, he shakes his head. No, just too much for today.
All right, same weight, 117.5 kilos for Magnus. Bar is loaded. Let's go. Come on, Magnus.
Okay, Magnus is up next now. 117.5 kilos for Magnus.
Loaded for Rachel.
He opened at 105, 112.5, up 5 kilos. Gets the start command, gets a press command. It goes up, it goes forward, it goes down.
All right, let's turn this around. Same weight, 117.5.
We've got
Tighten those
4
collars, change those
missed
rack heights
third
for
attempts
David.
in a
After
row.
David, we've got Chris.
David Chu is going up only 2.5
is
kilos
loaded.
from his second
Come
to
on,
third.
David.
Let's see if he can break this streak of overshooting.
Go, Rachel. Go. That is a good lift for Rachel. 82.5 over here for Kate, followed by Marianne.
Brings it down and brings
Good
it
catch,
down.
spotters. All right,
Just
we're
too
gonna go
much.
Up to 127.5 kilos for Chris. After Chris, we
Here's
have
an interesting
Ethan.
statistic for you.
Your platform's giving it their all, obviously, but
4,
Oh, we're working hard over here.
5
These guys, they're putting
6.
a lot of effort in. But
6
they are working to
of the
absolutely
9
max
lifters here
efforts.
have increased their
Bar
third
is
attempts
loaded.
by only 2.5 kilos from their second.
Let's get
And
behind
so
you guys.
far,
Let's see some green on that
everyone
board.
who's increased it by the only 2.5 has missed. So that suggests that everybody's max attempt was taken on their second lift or close to their max if they had a bit of a misgroove or a setup issue in the third. So here we have Christopher, 2.5 kilos from second. Let's see what happens.
bar is loaded for Marianne.
Let's go, Chris. Let's break that streak. Big arch, big setup, slow descent. You got it off the chest. It's going, and it's going down.
It's a little
It's
bit too
going
much
down.
today.
Okay, I think I've figured it out.
All right, we're going to go to one.
Our next lifter
32.5 kilos, please.
increased
For Ethan.
3 white lines.
second
Like
to
me, you
third
have like 10 seconds to
by
change
5
your opener.
kilos, not 2.5. So maybe that's the secret.
Bar is loaded for Christina.
So Ethan went from 120 to 127.5, and now is going 127.5 to 132.5.
Bar is loaded for Ethan.
The previous 6 athletes have all missed their third attempts,
go,
with the
Ethan.
majority of them going increase of only 2.5 minus 1 lifter. Ethan, who's having a perfect day, chose to increase by 5 kilos. I think he's got this. I think the streak is going to end.
Oh, there we go.
Sweet baby Jesus. Broke the streak, got the whites, is 6 for 6 going into deadlifts. Just needs to hit an opener and secures his spot on the world team again.
Finish up flight A with Damien. He missed his second. The bar is loaded. Gonna chip it a little bit higher, just up 2.5 kilos. See if he can get his third attempt here.
Okay, now Ryan has chosen a different strategy here. He missed his second attempt by overpressing it to the shoulder. So he has chosen to actually increase it to 135.
Beautiful bench. 3 white lines. 97.5 kilos.
Ooh, and it pays off.
This time
You
they
can
say
see purposely on that press there, he pressed the bar straight up and not shot it
Alright,
back
last
towards
lifter in
his
flight
face.
A,
So the
about
line was good. He kept his
147.5
joints stacked
kilos
underneath
for
the bar
Damien.
and moved it
After Damien,
pretty
we're gonna
much
roll
with ease.
straight
I'd call that
into
almost an
flight B
RPE
with Owen.
8, which I think he could have another 2.5 to 5 kilos based on his technique there.
Bar's loaded.
So took a risk and it paid off. If he had missed that lift, then he would have left 7.5 kilos on the platform. But he got it, and that puts him now at a forecasted total for the 83s of 502.5.
believe
which
his last
actually has
attempt
him
was a provincial
2.5
record
kilos
attempt for BC.
ahead
So this
of
would be
second
just
place.
going to increase that provincial record.
Sorry, ahead of third place, securing his second place.
Good try.
So Damien went 145, got the provincial bench record. Now he's got 147.5, so he went up 2.5 kilos. So far, everyone who's increased by only 2.5 kilos has missed. Let's see if he can break that trend.
McKenna, you're on deck. Rachel's in the hole.
Go, 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 go. And no lift.
Oh, so close. Just
The curse of the 2.5 kilos, everybody.
All right, 90 kilos on the bar, please, for Owen.
So now we're
And
moving
we are
into flight
starting
B.
flight
Owen Smith will be up first. 90
Dave,
kilos.
you're paying less attention than me right now.
BC Raw Sub-Junior athlete. Again, if you're just tuning in on the live stream, today's live stream is sponsored by SBD
Just
Canada.
gonna wipe the bench down. Make sure we have a
SBD
nice
Canada has
bench
been
for our flight
outfitting
B lifters.
Canada's top and bottom lifters, I guess, all the lifters
Bar is loaded
for many, many
Owen.
years,
We're
from
in
knee
flight B.
sleeves to belts to singlets to wrist wraps to socks to headbands. Pretty much, if you can wear it on the platform, you can get it there. They always sponsor all of our international teams, from the sub-junior to the master level. If you see any athletes coming out here with a Canada singlet on, it is a SBD singlet. So if you're at home watching here, why don't you go over to their website, see what they got on sale, see what deals they got, see what new line of equipment is there. SBD Canada, session sponsor. Owen Smith, opening attempt bench. Easy peasy.
Looks good from here, they say. Well,
Two
it's
white
two
lights.
so it's a good lift.
Head judge gives him a blue
95
card,
kilos
usually
on the bar,
indicating a
please,
little
for
up and
Coleman.
down.
After Coleman, we will see Allen. Bar is loaded for Coleman.
Coleman's coming out now, 95 kilos. British Columbia Coleman. He's 3 for 3 so far on his squats. And he's a lone wolf in the 105 division. So all he's got to do is make sure he doesn't miss one of the three.
After Allen, we have Cameron.
And then he can secure his spot on the international team.
Bar is loaded.
Just making a few adjustments here. There was a rack height discrepancy. And now they're readjusting the clock time. So there seems to be a discrepancy with the rack height. Our head referee is just making sure that they had actually put the right change on the card. That'll allow him to reset the timer. It was a mistake by the platform crew, not necessarily the crew themselves. They were just doing what they were told, but it wasn't updated into the computer system. So once that all got figured out, the clock is reset for the athlete, so Allen can use his full 60 seconds to set himself up to hit his bench. All that for an RPE 6 opener attempt.
2 white lights, it's good lift.
Quite fast on the board.
So lifters can request a change to their rack height at any point before they get there. But if we put it in wrong and we have to change it, then that's our time and we get a reset clock. If the lifter just wants it changed from what they had said on their cards, they have to get it changed, but it does chew up their 1 minute.
Hi, Mom. I gotta call you back. I'm busy. Okay, bye, Mom. So my mom just called me.
Bars loaded.
Had to
for
tell her I'm
Cameron.
at work. So back to lifting. Cameron, 112.5 kilos. 248. Cameron is forecasted at a 542.5 total, which is just 10 kilos ahead of second place. So now we really want to make sure that we're hitting every lift. We're not missing anything now to keep that lead. And two white lights, 2-1. The head referee saw something we didn't see.
117.5 kilos for set veer.
Got called
After set veer, we go to
red card, usually indicating something was lifting, whether it's the head or the butt, but something did not stay in contact with the bench.
Bar is loaded.
Satvir Ray is up next. So his goal for this contest is to win. So Satvir is currently sitting in second place behind Cameron. So he's gonna have to make some catch up by about 10 kilos. And you know what? By the way that bar moved on his
And
bench,
verdict is,
I think he might have a higher ceiling for potential kilos in contrast to first place Cameron, just based on the speed of the first one. Now I can sit here in this chair by the microphone and I can make assumptions just from looking, but one thing that I gotta let everyone know is I don't know these athletes. I don't train, I don't coach these athletes. So when I watch Cameron lift, if he moves a bar at a certain speed, I can make a prediction based on what I know. But if Cameron naturally moves the bar at that speed, and maybe that's fast for him, then that just might be how it is. So for me to sit up here and say, based on the speed, I don't think he's going to have that. I'll just also suggest, I don't know these lifters. I'm 20 feet away and just making my judgments based on what I see here. And based on what I see here, Anakin's got a lot left in that bench press.
2 white lights.
120 kilos. It's a passed lift. 2 whites, 1 red. Jacob's coming up next with a big 160, 352.5 kilo or 352.5 pound bench.
On the bar here for Jacob. After Jacob, we go to the top of the order.
This Ontario athlete is from Newcastle,
Bar is
Ontario.
loaded for Jacob, 160
His favorite
kilo
powerlifting
opener.
moment is when he attended Worlds, and you can see he's got his Team Canada singlet on. His goal for the contest is 2 Canadian records. Now, he's already got 3 from the squats, so I think he might be talking about individual lifts. Not sure, we'll find out. His occupation is high school, and I don't think the pay is very good these days, so I hope he's got a second stream of income. He would like to thank and shout out to Jeff Butt, and like everyone else, his hobbies, interests, and passions are powerlifting.
His name is actually Finn. His last name is Coleman. At least he knew what I was talking about. 100 kilos, second attempt up there for Finn. Bars loaded.
Coleman's up next, 100 kilos on the bar.
He has 30 seconds to come out and take his attempt.
2-1. Good.
And the clock's running. We're just waiting for the athlete. There's only
looking
20
good
seconds
over there
left, so I'm
on
not sure if the
platform
athlete
one.
knows the bar is loaded. Possibly he's passing on second attempt. I'll see if I can figure. Oh, here comes Coleman now. He's got 12 seconds. Oh, Coleman.
Bar is loaded for Chris.
He rushed a little
So
bit.
this is
He
what
was in a-
happened.
He was in a hurry, but he missed his start command.
Coleman
so he'll come back. It wasn't a strength
came
thing.
out
He'll
a
come
little
back
bit
in on his
rushed.
first attempt.
So
Weight stays the
maybe
same,
he didn't
100
know he
kilos
was
for
up.
Owen.
Maybe his coach or handler was not watching the time. Maybe they could not hear the bar's
After
loaded
Owen, we
command.
will go to Allen.
So when he came out to the platform, there's 12 seconds left on the clock. He lied down on the bench. The spotter
Bar's
went to
loaded.
give him a lift off. He grabbed the bar himself, ripped it off. As soon as the bar was in his hands, he brought the bar down before he got the start command. So because of that, the lift does not count. Definitely under those circumstances, if you can move the bar as fast as he did, then he's definitely got more in him. So now we've got Owen Smith out here, and the head referee is explaining to him that he must have his hair tied up, and that is one of the rules in the IPF rulebook. When you have long hair that goes on the back of the head and the neck, it must be upwards. So one of our gracious spotters and loaders, Tracy
There's
Wise,
a rule in the book
bronze
that if your
medalist in the
hair
72
can
M1 division
hide
yesterday,
where your head comes
given
off
up
the bench
one of her
or not,
hair
you
ties for
must
this young
have it
man.
tied up. And so
Okay, so Owen is
unfortunately
coming
for
out now,
Owen,
and
his hair
I
was
think he's got
long
about
enough that it
5
would have
seconds
hidden
left.
That, he's at
And he
time,
gets called on the
unfortunately.
time.
So he'll keep his hair tied up and come back and get it on his
So you
hair.
know what?
110
This
kilos on the bar
is
here,
an
please, for
opportunity
Allen.
of learning for Owen and anyone watching right
After
now.
Allen, we'll go to Cameron.
At a championship event, it is encouraged that you know all the rules. Maybe for a sub-junior or a junior or even, open novice, any level, if it's your first time, second time, you're still kind of figuring this stuff
Bars
out,
loaded.
all the nuances in the rules. But if you're coaching someone and they're to meet, if you're in charge of their success, you should know these rules too and make sure that the athlete is prepared when they go out on the platform and all they have to do is lift the bar. The good news of this for Owen is I guarantee he'll never make that mistake again, and sometimes the best lessons in life are learned from making mistakes. Alan Chung is next, 110 kilos on the bar. Alan increased it by 7.5 kilos. Let's see what happens here.
145 kilos. Bar is loaded. Priya from Alberta.
He's got the shaky elbows, but a strong press through.
Slow and smooth, and they say 2 white lights. It's a good lift. 117.5 kilos on the bar, please, for Cameron. After Cameron, we go to Satvir.
Cameron's up next, 117.5 kilos. Ontario Cam.
What a fight. What did the judges say?
Bars loaded for Cameron.
All right, we're going to take a 20-minute break here on platform 1.
So Cam increased his attempt by 5 kilos, which is the same jump by second place, Mr. Ray. Ooh.
And the verdict
So he
is
pressed. Does it go all the way up, or was there any up and down motion?
3 white lights. It's a good
And
lift.
2 white lights. Yeah, I think I
All
called
right,
for a
we're
little
gonna
up and
go
down.
here to
So the lift
122.5
counts.
for Satvir. After him, we've got Anakin
Speed was a little
and
slower than the
Jacob.
first one. I don't know how much he's got left for the third attempt. But
Bar is
Satvir's
loaded.
coming out now with the same increase. Satvir hits this. He's still behind by 10 kilos. And then we'll see what happens on the third attempt benches because that could make the difference. Gets his hips down, gets the start command, gets the press command. Oh, got the shaky elbows as well, but a little faster
And
than
verdict
Cam.
is-
So now this
Three
is
white
going to
lights, it is a
be
good lift.
interesting to see what happens.
Nice work, guys. 127.
So is Cam going to go up 2.5 or 5
281
kilos?
pounds
Cam
for
goes up 5
Anakin.
kilos. He takes
And
it.
after Anakin,
Let's
we
say
are gonna go
Satvir
to
goes
Jacob
up
before we start
2.5
our third attempt bench
kilos
press.
and misses. That's a 15 kilo lead going into the deadlifts.
We're doing pretty well.
Or-
We kinda,
or-
mostly greens. Let's go. Bars loaded.
Cam misses, and Mr. Ray goes up by 5 kilos. And that cuts that deficit down just a little bit. So looking on the scoreboard here, Cam increased second to third by 2.5. And Satvir increased second to third by 2.5 as well. So this would still separate them by 10 kilos if they both make, if they both miss, or 7.5, or 12.5 if one makes, one
Looks
misses.
pretty easy from here, and they say 3 white lights. It is a good lift. All right, we're gonna go up. Oh, Jacob is going after it. Another Canadian national record attempt in the sub-junior 120 plus category, 172.5 kilos. Lots of Canadian national record attempts. Bar is loaded. Let's go, Jacob. Let's see it.
Okay, here we go. A Canadian record attempt for the Ontario athlete Jacob. 172.5 kilo bench press. Gets the start command, brings it down into the body, drives it up and back. And that looked pretty
What'd you
darn
think,
easy to
Renee?
me.
Look pretty easy. 2 white lights. Good
So
lift.
another record.
Good Canadian national record. All right, we are going back to the top of the order, 100 kilos. Owen just ran out of time and then rushed, missed his start command. So the weight's not a problem. Let's just see him come out, get it this time.
While we're on our break here on platform 1, feel free to head back if you want to look like us on the platform.
Bars loaded for Owen. Let's go, Owen.
Grab yourself a t-shirt.
Thank you to the spotter who gave him a hair tie.
Okay, Owen's coming out now. He's got his hair up. He's going to take the same weight that he was originally going to do on his second attempt. He's got 40 seconds, lots of time now. It goes up, back, straight up. He's got to get it over the shoulders. He's got to bring it back. Oh,
So
just too
close.
much. So very interesting to see from where you
All
were.
right, we're going to go up a little bit to 105 kilos.
If you're on the
for
live
Finn.
stream, you might not see, but the bar goes upwards very quickly, then goes back, then goes up and forward.
And I think that's the
So
thing, right?
his
Like,
line
these guys
was
are already
off.
lifting big weight, and I don't think we sometimes realize.
So when
these
the
are
line
still
is off on the
kids.
bench, it makes it a lot harder because you have to overcome additional
Bar is
amount
loaded
of
for
moment
Finn.
force to
Let's
kind of
go,
finish
Finn.
that lift. All that really means is you got to move that bar a greater distance. So something was shutting down or weak muscles weren't doing the job and compensating elsewhere. So his line was off, which made that exercise very hard for him. So Coleman missed this just on timing on the last one and then waiting for the start command. Ooh. Not sure if that's going to pass. We will see what happens.
Looks pretty easy.
And 2 to
And no
1.
lift.
So what happened was
Couple of different infractions that
Coleman
were caught on that
unracked
one.
the bar. He gets the start command.
112.5
What he did
kilos,
once
please,
he
for
got the
Allen.
start
You
command
guys will notice a few
is
different
he unlocked his
variations in grip.
elbows and then he
Bar
locked his
is
elbows
loaded
again.
for Allen.
Then he
Just
brought the
those
bar
rings on
down.
there. You
So with
can go
that
anywhere
first
inside
motion
it,
of
you just
unlocking
can't
and
take your
locking, the bar
index
goes down,
finger
bar goes up.
outside those rings.
So that's what the blue card was for. He was also called on a yellow card on one side by not listening to commands, I believe. The commands looked fine to me, but I think that might be the rationale behind it. Not too sure. Essentially, he was a little bit off. Lift doesn't count. Definitely has the strength. But a lot of these juniors and sub-juniors here, they're going to take away a lot of good memories, experiences, and just be better after this Nationals. Alan Chung now, bench 3, 112.5 kilos. He went up only 2.5 kilos from his second, and we know what that means based on the curse. The curse of the 2.5 kilos
Just a bit too much today, but
happens
good effort out there,
again.
Alan. All right, 120 kilos, please, for Cameron. After Cameron, we've
If you're
got
on the live
Lewis
stream
up
and you're
here.
watching and you're asking a few things like, could you adjust the camera for the lights or turn on all these things here? I'm just a lonely commentator. I'm not even near the camera. Unfortunately, I can't adjust any of those things. So my
Mark is
apologies
loaded
for
Cameron.
that.
A junior in the 66 kilo
I'll do my
class.
best to let you guys know when
He's
lifts are
gonna
made and
attempt to
missed.
bench 120 kilos.
And currently the last 3 attempts were all missed. Now we have Cameron coming out. And he increased second to third by 2.5 kilos. Will he be the first one to break this trend of missing third attempt benches by 2.5 jumps? It's going, it's going, it's going, it's going. Oh.
Oh, good effort out there. All
Fortunately,
right,
no lift.
125 kilos, please, for Satvir. After Satvir, we will go to Anakin and finish up with Jacob. These guys
So with
are
that
going
being
on
no
all
lift, that
stops
opens
here.
the door now for
Max
Satvir to
effort,
gain
give it all
a
they've got,
little bit of
everything on
momentum
the
going into
platform. Let's
deadlifts.
get behind them.
So right
Bar
now
is
they're
loaded.
separated by 10 kilos. Satvir increased his second to third by 2.5. If he hits this, they are only separated by 7.5 kilos after the opening attempt deadlifts. So this could make it very interesting. If he misses, Cameron has a little bit more of a buffer zone. So we need someone to break this 2.5 kilo slump. And this is the last person of today's session 1 doing this. Come on, Satvir. Oh, it's going, it's going, it's going, it's going. And
And
think,
they say,
therefore I am right. 3 white lights. The first person to break the curse of the 2.5 kilo bench press jump. So that puts him behind by 7.5 kilos going into the deadlifts. That'll be interesting to watch those two gentlemen fight for that world's spot. Anakin Kirkbride here, solo sub-junior 120. Not really battling anyone. So all he's got to do is hit his lifts,
Bars loaded for
make his
Anakin.
way onto the national or the international team. He's had a perfect day so far. 5 for 5. Let's see what happens now.
Holding out all right? Yeah. You need any water or something like that?
You know what? If you're offering, I would take a coffee.
Coffee, I'll get you coffee. Where do you want it?
My cup, let's save the environment. Just put a little bit of cream in, that'd be great.
And they say,
3 white lights.
Go.
His perfect day is
Alright.
continually being perfect.
Look at
6 for
that.
6.
181.5
Last
kilos,
lifter now,
400
Jacob.
pounds.
181.5 kilos, a Canadian record attempt.
Canadian
He's having a
record
pretty good
attempt.
day so far. Hasn't missed a lift. Stole a few records. Sorry, I shouldn't say steal. Because
All right,
steal
yes,
implies
that just
that
told
he
me
shouldn't have
Jacob
it. He
will be the
earned
youngest
some
person
Canadian
in the CPU
records.
to bench press 400 pounds, you guys. 17 years old.
Interesting fact just came up.
This is one strong
Jacob could be the youngest athlete to ever
Bar
bench
is
400
loaded.
pounds
Canadian national
in
record attempt. Let's
the
go,
CPU.
Jacob.
This is a big lift. And just a jump from, he went from 172 to 181. Got the 3 reds on, plus some change. It's going, it's going, it's going! Ladies and gentlemen,
Good. What did I
there is the youngest man to bench 400 pounds in the history of the Canadian
All right.
Powerlifting Union that I'm aware of.
say? We're going to unload this bar.
We're going to take a little break here, about 10 minutes. We're going to switch over for the deadlifts, and then we're going to come back for deads.
You know what they
So
say,
sit tight.
Renee? The competition really doesn't start until the bar hits the floor.
Jeff said so.
Jeff said it. I have no idea. It's true. That's why I said Jeff said.
The different weight class changes, I was like, oh, I'm not sure. But Jeff's been around since all the
Yeah. And platform 2, you have just over 3 minutes to change an opener. All right, we have 2.5 minutes to lifting on platform 2. If I could get my referees, spotters, loaders to the platform, please. Okay. All right. Yep. Okay. So if we have a third attempt deadlift change, we press the number lock sign so that it shows up here. So that we had a change to opener. All right, change to attempt because it's got to alert us. All right, my platform 2 crew, I need ya. Whatever. All right, we have 1 minute to lifting on platform 1. We got one spotter, loader. He's going to load the bar at 190 kilos. I hope you get some teammates or that you have a lot of energy. Gabe is not above any job in this competition. All right, we are opening deadlifts with Matthew, 190 kilos on platform 2. Bar is loaded for Matthew. Bar is loaded for Matthew. I don't know why though, because we are out of order. We should actually have 185 kilos on the bar here for Ryan, and then 187.5 for Magnus. I'm not sure what the computer is doing. I can read that. I'm only an M1, not an M2, Gabe. All right, bar is loaded now for Ryan. Sorry about that, guys. We'll figure this out. And we have a good lift. Okay, we're going to add little coins to those. Go to 187.5 for Magnus. Bar is loaded. 187.5 for Magnus. And what do we have? A good lift. All right. Now we're going to go to 190 kilos. Take those little coins off and put 2s on for Matthew. And let's hope whatever glitch we had on lifting cast has fixed itself. Bar is loaded for Matthew. And it's a good lift. All right, now
And
we're gonna go
we
to
are
200 kilos
back.
for Nathaniel.
Now going into the deadlifts is now going to
Andrew.
secure people's positioning for the podium. It's where people are going to be fighting for those medals that they will always, always cherish. They will hang up on their walls for the first 3 or 4 years. Then eventually they mitigate themselves to the underwear drawer, the sock drawer. And then hopefully 10, 20, 30 years down the road, they can tell their kids and their kids' kids that one time mommy or daddy was a champion. We got Nathaniel Woodward coming in a 200 kilo opener. And his build does favor the deadlift from what I can see here. He's got some nice long leverages, arms, pulls his head through at the top, and a good lift.
And 3 white lights, hit a little sticking point, pulled it through just nice. All right, weight stays the same, 200 kilos for Andrew. Bar's loaded.
So the bar weight stays the same for Andy here at 200 kilos. Andy has missed 2 lifts so far. Let's see if he can pack together 3 good deadlifts. Oh, speedy.
And the judges say
That's a good lift.
3 white lights.
3 white
Platform
lights.
1 is on a roll. Platform 2 is on a roll. Let's keep it going. 207.5 kilos here for Chris. Bars loaded for Chris.
385 pounds for 2 white lights. That is a good lift. 190 coming up here for Yash. Bar is loaded. Oh, Marianne, sorry. 177.5.
207.5 kilos for Chris's opener. Puts it down with authority and 3 white lights. A good lift.
212.5 kilos for David. After David, we will see Damien.
So Chris is sitting in second place with a 505 total. First place is our Canadian champion, our world's bronze medalist, Ethan, at 595.5. Matthew is coming from behind with 492.5. So we'll see what happens there. David Chu, 207.5. Deadlift.
All right, now bars loaded.
Opener. Let's see what happens with him. Sorry, 212.5 for David. David hits this. He's pretty much locked up his spot on the world team. being ahead by 52.5 kilos.
And
I
we
don't
have
think
another
Nathaniel
good
can
deadlift.
catch up that much.
All right, 215 kilos on the bar.
Damien
please, for
Hu is up
Damien.
next.
After Damien, we'll go to Ethan.
Damien
And then we will
Hu
go
is
back to the top of
leading
the flight.
the 83 sub juniors with a 572.5 forecasted total,
Bars loaded for Damien.
which gives him about 55 kilos ahead of second place. So he hits this, he pretty much secures his spot.
Go, 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 go. All the way. You got it.
Lightweight.
Three white lights.
Tight.
155 kilos for Fisher Paul.
Wow.
It looked heavy
Wow,
for an opener, but he
Damien.
got 3 white lights. He's on the board. That's
I
all
think
that
he
matters.
tweaked
All right,
something.
220 kilos, please, here
He's
for
holding his
Ethan.
back.
After Ethan, we
He's
go to the
walking
top of the
pretty
order.
darn slow. Like I said, he hits an opener, he secures a spot on the world team. He hit that opener. I don't know what he's got left.
Bars loaded.
I don't know if he might want to stay conservative and pass on 2 and 3. Maybe he just got an injury. I'm happy for him that he got it. And I hope that whatever he decides to do, he stays safe. Ethan, lock your spot up here with this opener. Another strong Newfoundland athlete. Newfoundland has produced some of the best athletes in the CPU's history over the last 3-4 decades,
And good lift.
going back as far as Joy Burt,
All right, guys, I want you to pay attention.
Legendary
Lifting
Tom
cast is,
Keene,
messing up again here. So we're gonna
Jeff
go to
Budd, who's been
195
competing for
kilos,
decades and decades at all levels,
And it's going to be for
Steph
Matthew.
Puticom,
After that,
Justin
we're gonna go
Miller.
195 for Ryan.
Seen some real
The lifting cast
high-level
is messing
athletes
up.
come from
So
Newfoundland.
195, 3 reps,
Of course, everyone remembers
taller,
Josh
195
Hancock.
kilos for
He was
Matthew.
CPU Athlete of the Year, I believe, in 2016.
They are taking the same weight. But
Newfoundland
because
has
Matthew
always
lower
produced
spot number,
some
that's why
really
he's gonna
good
go
lifters.
first.
All by ratio. And Lily. Bar is loaded.
Okay, it looks like we're good. All right, bars loaded. And it's a good lift.
So Matt comes out, hits 195 kilos,
And
3
lifting
white
cast
lights.
reordered and we're on line 195 for Ryan, please.
So that puts him behind Christopher by about 22.5 kilos.
Bars
Not sure if he
loaded
can
for
make up
Matthew.
that difference. Currently on the scoreboard, Damien Hu has the same weight on the second attempt at 215 kilos. I don't think he's aware that he can't actually attempt the same weight twice. Maybe he just put it in
And they
thinking
say
that he'll just pass on it. Ryan Ward, 195
2 white
kilos.
lights,
He
good
got 2 white, 1 red. Got a blue card for the red from our head judge.
205 kilos on the bar, please,
I believe
for
our head
Ed.
judge would have saw the bar
After
going a
that,
little
we'll
bit
go
up
to
and down, which is why he made that call.
Bars loaded.
Bar is loaded for Lily. Elsie's on deck. Paris is in the hole.
And the call is, it's a good lift.
And a good lift for
Gonna put a
Magnus.
little coin on there, 207.5 kilos for Nathaniel. Bars loaded.
And Nathan's coming out now for 207.5 kilos. Nathan increased his first to second by 7.5. Sub junior 66. He's 17.5 kilos behind the next place. Just got to bring those hips through. And he does.
And what
See
do
what
they
the referees say. 3 white lights.
So you'll notice a couple of variations here, 2 dominant variations. We've got the conventional pullers, where their feet are closer together, hands are outside their legs, and sumo pullers. Legs are wider, hands are inside the leg. Both are legal in competition.
Oh, Gilly on the live stream is mentioning Frank Williams, a huge powerlifter from Newfoundland. Next time you talk to Frank, tell him I want my name badge back. When I was down in Commonwealth, he asked if he could have one of my name badges, and he wanted to put it up into his garage. So he still got my name tag. Frank's great guy. Damien Hu is going to let the clock time out. He's going to pass on his second and third.
Timing out his attempt.
He's going to take that full 60 seconds on the platform. Salutes the crowd. He's pretty excited. I think he secured his spot and he knows it. Damien also came out. He shook the hands of all the referees, thanking them. That's a sign of respect. That is something it's nice to see in this sport here. The referees are sitting for 3.5 to 4.5 hours. Lots of loud noises around them. Those suits might look good, but they are not comfortable. So always saying thank you. You appreciate the refs in the chairs, the technical controller who has to stand for 4 hours, the jury table. We're always sitting there marking all the lifts. It's not a bad idea to show a little bit of gratitude to these men and women, because without them, the sport would not be here. Andrew Alden's coming out now, and he's going to go for provincial record attempt as a sub-junior from Manitoba with 215 kilos, 473.99 pounds. Let's go, Andrew.
Thermometer and everything.
Excellent.
And new provincial record for
And a good lift.
Manitoba. All right, 217.5 kilos, please, for Christopher. After Christopher, we go to David and then Ethan before we go to the top of the order. Bars loaded for Christopher.
Christopher's coming out now, 217.5 kilos. 10 kilo jump from 1 to 2. Moved pretty well. I think he's going to go over that 500-pound deadlift. It's not too often. He had 217.5, and you just don't want to put 227.5 on. So we'll see what he does for his third attempt.
Just shy of 500 pounds for David. After David, we'll finish up second attempts with Ethan. Bars loaded.
Okay, David Chu is coming out now. 225 kilos, 12.5 increase from 1 to 2. He's sitting at a 535 total. Oh, moves that very well. Very well.
And it's a good lift. That's a big deadlift for a 66 sub-junior. All right, 235 kilos on the bar, please, for Ethan. Take the bar over 500 pounds.
We lost the medical tape portion of the first aid kit. Got some band-aids.
Bars loaded.
Okay, Ethan Reed is coming out now, just patting the stats here. Maybe trying to get a workout in. I don't know if he's actually pushing his maxes. And he moves that with ease, and he knows he's got it.
All right, top of the thirds, 197.5 kilos for Matthew.
And Ethan's got a perfect day so
Light
far.
B, we are starting third attempts.
Kind of locked in a gold position. Christopher's in second with 5:15. Matthew's in third with 4:92.5. Matthew's only increased his second to third by 2.5, so that kind of locks up the 74 sub-junior division. We got some number crunching to go on here for the Raw sub-junior 83s. David passes on his second, most likely his third, so he'll finish with 5:72.5. Battling for silver now is Magnus and Ryan. Magnus at 5:17.5. Ryan at 5:12.5. Forecasted
Bars
totals.
loaded for Matthew.
That's after they. Sorry, that's with this the third attempts they currently got in. Ryan Ward's gonna have to bump his up to 210 just to tie Magnus, and he's got Magnus on body weight. As Ryan strolled in and weighed 74.1 kilos, so I think he originally wanted to be a 74
Slow
kilo
and
lifter
steady,
today and
they
just
say,
didn't
through
make
white
it.
lights.
But if he did make the 74s,
205 kilos on
he'd
the
most
bar,
likely
please, for
finish
Ryan.
with
After
a
Ryan,
bronze
we
or be
will go to
battling
Nathaniel.
pretty much for the same numbers against
So
Christopher
if
for a
Ryan
silver.
pulls this is a silver medal pull. This will move him from third to second place. And we have a last minute attempt change.
So we have an attempt change now for Ryan Ward.
What's the attempt change table? It is 205. We are correct. We have 205 on the
So
bar.
Ryan
That was
Ward
the
is putting
change.
205 on the
Okay.
bar.
All right, 205 is loaded. Screen was just messing with us. It was a little bit behind.
I'm not sure if that's
Bars
what everyone
loaded,
meant to
205
do.
Kilos, moving him from third
So
to
Ryan
second.
Ward is
Let's
coming
go.
out.
Silver medal on the line.
Yeah, this will put him in the silver medal position and then puts a little bit of pressure on Magnus to hit his. So Ryan can lock up silver or put himself into silver contention by hitting this. Let's see what happens.
All right, 2
2 to 1, that's all you need. So it's a pass lift. Coach Luke Trombley
We got
cheering them
somebody
on.
going for the bronze medal over there on platform 1. All right, we got 210 kilos.
So
for
Nathan is up next at
Nathaniel.
210. Nathan's sitting in second place, and he'll probably remain in second place.
Go, bronze medal pole, platform 1.
But let's see what's going to happen with the 83
Bars
sub-juniors.
loaded, platform 2.
Right now, Ryan is in second with 5:22.5. Magnus is now put in 2:15. But Magnus is heavier, so he has to win by 2.2. He cannot tie Ryan. Nathan gets
Not
3/4
quite today.
way
Good
up
effort out
and then
there,
just
going to
doesn't have the
Daniel.
strength to pull it through.
All right, 215 kilos on the bar, please. Just got to clean the bar. Sometimes you get a little bit of blood on the bar. It does happen. This is powerlifting. And we're just going to make sure we clean it.
So
Obviously,
spotters and
we wanna
loaders
make
found
sure
there's a little
we're
bit of DNA
sanitary and
left
safe
on the
for
bar.
everybody lifting.
Sometimes that can happen when people cut their shins when they're lifting. Not all federations require the athletes to wear socks on their shins. The IPF does, and this is for one of those reasons. If they cut themselves, there's a minimal amount of blood that goes onto the bar in comparison to someone
Bar is
who
loaded.
is not wearing a
215
sock
kilos.
covering the shin. More blood goes on the bar.
This is Magnus. Damien passed
So
his
Magnus
attempt.
is coming out on
Football, Damien
215.
passed his attempt. Thank you.
So Magnus pulls this. I believe that bumps him up into the silver
And
position.
they say it's a good lift.
And that's a good lift for
kilos on the bar,
Magnus.
please, for Chris.
So that puts Magnus in silver position, locks it up for him at 527.5, beating Ryan Ward by 5 kilos. You know, I was expecting maybe a little bit more of a battle between the two, because in all honesty, it looked like both of them could have lifted more weight. But
You can buy them at the back.
sometimes you don't know.
Do like a deadlift portion, so then like 'cause that's kind of the easier. Yeah, there's not as many technical. Yeah, kind of ease into it.
Bars loaded for Chris.
So Chris pulled the 217.5. He is fired up to tackle 4 red plates at 225, 496, a Big Mac shy of 500 pounds.
And it is his. 3 white lights.
And he's fired up.
227.5 kilos.
Good lift.
For Andrew. After Andrew, we have David and then Ethan, and we will roll right into flight B.
Like shadow kind of.
And here comes our last lifter of this flight here, Andrew, 501 on the bar, 227.5 kilos.
Bronze medal pull over on platform 1, you guys. Let's hear it. Lock it, lock it. Patience. Holy smokes, girls. Bars loaded, platform 2, Andrew.
Okay, Andrew's coming out now. They cleaned the bar up. Last attempt for him, 227.5 kilos. He's missed his 3rd bench, his 2nd squat. Let's lock this down. 7 for 9 day. It's going, it's going, it's going. Oh.
So close, just not there today.
He's got it
All right,
there halfway up, lost his
236
balance, and it fell
Canadian
forward.
National record attempt in the sub-junior 66 kilo class. David Chu.
Okay, David Chu's making some moves here now. Canadian record attempts for our sub-junior 66 kilo Ontario athlete. 236 on the bar, 520.
Those ladies on platform 1 are really impressive, Renee, but right now we have a Canadian national record attempt.
David Chu is already locked up first place in his division, so now he's just adding a record to his spot on the world team for this year's World Championships.
Third attempt deadlifts, we're going to make sure that everybody has the same clean bar and that there's no blood on it, it's ready to go. Bars loaded. David, Canadian national record attempt.
All right, David, sticking with the same weight. This is a huge milestone, just over 400 pounds. 182.5.
And an easy Canadian record. That might be the easiest Canadian record I've seen in some
We're
time.
going to go up again, 250
Well done.
kilos for Ethan, and then we will start flight B. Just a quick note, guys. On the side over here behind.
Okay,
platform
Ethan is
2
gonna
score
finish
table,
off this
Luke
session
Stoffers
here.
is over here, and he's doing a raffle for rack.
He's
That's
8 for 8
out.
right
If
now.
you've seen them, there's
No
out
one
in
else on the
hallway.
scoreboard here is all
He's selling
greens but
raffle
him.
tickets, so get one while he's
So he
here,
can
'cause,
finish off a perfect day
I see him sitting over there right now.
with a 600.5 total.
215 kilos. 250 kilos. Bars
615
loaded.
and a
Ethan.
half if he hits this. 250 kilo, third attempt. Let's go Newfoundland's Ethan Reed. Not strong, so the total record's coming up. Not sure if it's for Ethan or not. It's not on the scoreboard.
Textbook.
Very technical, and
3
two
white
whites,
lights,
one red.
2
Good
white
for
lights.
him.
It's a good lift. All right, we're going to take it to 185 kilos for the start of Flight B for Owen. After Owen, we have Finn.
So now we're starting off on session B with Owen Smith at 185 kilos. Cameron is next, Jacob to follow.
Bars loaded, and we're starting Flight B with Owen.
Very good conventional technique.
And it is a good
Owen hits his opener
nice
very
work.
easily. He does a lot of things I like from a technical
All right,
perspective.
190
He really
kilos
loads
for
his
Finn.
legs into that
After Finn,
one.
we've got
He
Jacob.
locks his trunk down. You can tell that his core is braced. You can tell his pelvis is braced as well. He's got a lot of tension in the upper body. Good
Bars
technical
loaded
lift
for
for Owen.
Finn.
Coleman is up next, 190 kilos.
Put that down very, very gently. And 2
And
reds,
2 to
not
1.
knocked out.
Coleman's lift
I
did
don't
not
think he
count.
shifted those shoulders back.
The referees
All
called
right,
him on
we're
a
gonna go
soft lockout.
210 kilos for Jacob.
I think it was at the shoulders. He needs to lock his shoulders out a little bit more. As I mentioned earlier on, a lot of these lifters, this might be their first nationals, especially in the sub-junior and junior division. So it's normal for them to come here and really take in the experience, get to see a lot of new lifters, people they don't know, maybe they've seen on social media before.
Bars
It might be
loaded for Jacob.
a little overwhelming for some people, but they're gonna create good memories, relationships with people, and then they're gonna learn a lot as well. So, you know, a guy like Coleman there, I'm pretty sure that he gets called for lockout once or twice. It'll never happen again. Best lessons in life are learned from making mistakes. And there is no mistake about that opener for Jacob,
2 whites. it's a
except
good
for the
lift.
2 that he was given from the side judge of a little bit of up and down. But still, he got 2 whites, the lift counts.
So you'll notice a different command in the deadlift. In the deadlift, there's only one command. It's simply down. You come out, you get set, you pull straight, 1 motion, 2 lockout, no downward, no hitching, and you'll get a down command. Bars loaded.
So Ontario's Anakin Kirkbride's coming in, opening up at 225. He hit the Canadian record earlier in the squat. And easy opener there
And
for
it
him.
is a good lift. There were some pretty good pulls over there. Lots of moving around, lots of fights.
We are here in the Victoria Inn
Bar is
in
loaded.
beautiful
Cameron.
Winnipeg, Manitoba. Everyone told me how cold it is out here. I haven't been here in about 5 years. It was -9 this morning. It's going to be 1 degrees this afternoon. Feels like early spring. Cameron's in a little bit of a battle here. It's going to come down to seconds and thirds. as he is battling with Mr. Ray, and they are separated by 7.5 kilos. And nice easy
And the
opener for
verdict is?
Cameron.
3 white lights. I'm not losing my voice, Renee, because I'm loud and I talk a lot, so I have a lot of practice.
I want to say that your mic's louder than mine, so I'm going to use that.
I'd like to use that as the excuse, too.
So Alan Chung is up
Bars
next,
loaded,
232.5
232.5
kilos
for Alan.
for Alberta's Alan Chung. Okay, Alan, 512 pounds on the bar waiting for you. 20 seconds left. Alan Chung is sitting at 520 after that opener.
And they say 3 white lights. Got some hardcore deadlifts over here and some housework over there. 232.5 kilos, please, for Satvier. And then we'll go to the top of the order.
Satvier hits this, and then
Bars
that
loaded.
puts him tied with Cameron for first place. Now Satvier has Cameron on body weight, weighing at 65.4, while Cameron weighed in at 65.5. So 100 grams makes a difference. Let's see how this moves.
Oh, yeah.
He upped his over. Right? Alan upped his over as well.
A little slow off the floor, but the
That's a
speed
very nice
accelerated
deadlift.
and no
Referees
bobble at the
say
top.
3 white lights.
That is a sumo deadlift, also known as the patient
All
deadlift.
right, we are gonna go
Patience
to
in the
top of
bottom, then
order,
accelerates as it
109
goes through.
kilos for Finn. After Finn, we go to Owen. Strength wasn't a problem for for Finn on this one. He just didn't quite have his shoulders in line with his hips and knees fully locked out. So let's get behind him. Let's help him get this one. Get him
Coleman's coming up now. Second
Bars
attempt deadlift,
loaded.
190
Get behind
kilos.
Finn here, you guys.
Hey, Christopher.
Nice shirt.
Thank you.
Coleman missed his opening attempt at 190 on soft lockout. Oh, he sold it on that one there. Shoulders back, puts
Hold
the
that
bar
chest
down
through
like
nice,
it's
and you get
only
3 white lights.
225 pounds.
200 kilos on the bar here for Owen.
Oh, he dropped it.
No, he didn't. Going for 17.
Well, in our last flight we had a couple of battles out. These guys, there's not very many in each other's weight classes, so we'll have to see as shapes up. Bar is loaded,
I don't know. I don't think I still don't think he'll win with that.
but everybody has a total now, so this is good news.
He'll be behind by 12 and a half if the other guys hit. So if he hits and they miss, he's only behind by 7 and a half.
But that's a big jump.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was like over 40 kilograms.
No, he would be 12.5 behind.
No, like total, like
Oh,
like the total. He was like 40 total behind. So like I mean,
And what's the verdict?
man, go for a perfect day at this point.
Yeah, not locked out. I sort of wondered, but I don't have the view the referees have.
Jacob Alexander,
Look at
225
him get it. He's
kilos.
still on the board. He's still
3
good. He's got a
reds.
total.
No good.
225 kilos on the bar here for Jacob.
Sorry, Jacob is up
Jacob's
next for
already set a couple of national
225.
records today, so let's just see if maybe he can keep.
That was
his good
Owen
lifting
who missed the
going. Bars
200
loaded.
kilos.
Yeah, no, it might be the other side.
So Jacob's in a class by himself, so he's just looking to have a perfect day as he goes on
And
here.
A
And
little
he's
bit
8
of a
for
hitch
8.
there. 2 cards.
Oh,
facing
no,
downward
a little
motion.
up and down.
All right, 237.
So 2 reds, 1
kilos
white. That
here
lift
for
does not
Anakin.
count. That
And
ends his
actually, Renee,
perfect
let's look at
day.
the board here. Those
Let's see if he's going to
66
take
kilo
that
lifters,
weight
look at
again
those
or he's going to look
projected
to
totals.
increase it.
And
A
the
little bit
totals
of
are now posted
a
right
sticking
now.
point as he
We
gets
are
to the
gonna see a
top
good
of the
battle.
exercise.
Bar is loaded.
Anakin is now having a perfect day. He increased his second to third by 12.5 kilos. He's sitting at a forecasted total of 645 if he hits this.
Did you respond to this guy? I'm not gonna respond. Like at this point, there's no point. It's like it's too late.
And we have a good lift.
And a good
Weight
lift.
stays the same, 237.5 for Cameron. Bar is loaded.
Okay. Here's where strategy comes into play now.
These junior 66 kilo lifters, their totals are tight.
We got Satvier and Cameron both forecasted at 550
This one matters, Cameron. Let's
after
go.
these are hit. And then Alan Chung with a big 17.5 kilo attempt jump from first to second. So this will be interesting to see what happens. Ooh.
Slipped out of his hand.
Slipped out of his hands as he got
All
to the
right,
top.
weight
So
is
this
gonna go
opens
to
the door.
240
This opens the door for
kilos.
Satvier. Satvier hits
For
this.
Satvier.
That puts him at 550 with Cameron at
It's going to come down to
542.
who makes these deadlifts.
And remember,
Get behind him. Bars
Satvier
loaded. Let's go, Satvier.
has
How
body
much you
weight.
want it, buddy?
so if Satvier hits this, Cameron should adjust his third attempt to 240 to beat him by 2.5 kilos. But then all Satvier has to do is then match him and put in 242.5 to tie. But let's see how this 240 moves first. It's going. Patient. And a good lockout. I think
see
he's
what they
pretty
say.
good with that. Oh!
Didn't quite get that chest through.
2 reds.
All right, 250 kilos.
Lift does not
for
count.
66 kilo lifter here.
They called him on a
Alan.
soft lockout.
And then we're going to go and do
So
our
again, where
third
I'm
deadlift
sitting at the
attempt.
table, 45-degree oblique angle. There's spotters and loaders in the
Bar is
way.
loaded for Alan.
I can't get a real clear view, but I just watched on the live stream, and you know what? It looked like his knees were a bit soft. So now it's getting interesting. Alan Chung could now sneak in if he hits this
Right now with those two
and be a player in
previous
contention
deadlifts
for the
being
silver,
missed. This is a big pull for him. Let's get behind him, you guys.
possibly the gold. We'll see what happens.
Let's go, Alan.
So Alan hits this. He just comes from behind, big time. 550. Remember, his last one was 232.5. Oh, by the beard of Zeus, that moved well.
And
Three white
All
lights.
right.
We have a
Get
battle.
ready. All right. 200 kilos on the bar, please, for Owen.
So Alan
Didn't
Chung
quite lock it out and finish with his shoulders back on that last
at
one.
537
Strength
and a
is there.
half.
Let's see if he can finish it this time and get the white lights, get the lift. Third attempts, leaving it all out there, guys.
Chung's the lightest. Satvier's second. Yeah. So it's going to come down to our third attempts here for that 66 class. So Cameron's
Bars
got a
loaded.
hit.
Let's go,
Satvier's
Owen.
got a hit. If they both miss, then Alan could sneak in with the gold if he hits his third by, I believe, 7.5 kilos. And the way that second moved, boy, I think there's a possibility. And you got to remember, he was so far behind after bench press that it wasn't really. I don't think the other guys were even paying attention to Alan. Maybe they weren't aware of what he could do. Maybe they knew what he could do, and he was just opening super late. I'm not sure.
And 3 white lights. All right, 205 kilos on the bar, please, for Finn. After Finn, we'll go to Jacob. Bars loaded for Finn. Let's go, Finn. Set it up. Pull it all the way through.
What is this jump? Who wins 72.5 down to 25?
Yeah, buddy.
So Finn's pulling. He's got to lock it out. 205 kilos for Finn, and I think that's a good lift.
So gentle.
And he put that thing down
And 3 white lights.
as if there was
Good
a
job,
newborn
Finn.
baby sleeping on that platform.
225 kilos on the bar, please, for Jacob.
No, like that last one was way too easy.
Just missed this one last time on a technicality. Let's see if he can come back, clean up that technicality.
Jacob missed
Strength
this
was
on his
not
second
an issue
attempt.
for him.
I believe he was struggling
He's
to
had
lock
a
it out at
great
the top,
meet
or there's
so
a little
far,
bit of a
setting
hitch
2 different national
on the
records,
way
I
up.
think
Sometimes it's
3 times
harder.
each or something like that.
depending on your anthropometrics, your
Bars
build, your
loaded.
girth,
Let's go,
trying to
Jacob.
lock out the
Finish it off.
deadlifts at the top. So Jacob came in today, he scored
This is for
himself a couple
total
records.
record. Guys,
Apparently this
total
is a
record attempt
Canadian
here.
total
Let's hear it.
national record attempt if he hits this. Let's see if he locked it out fully. See what the referees say.
And no
Oh,
lift on
3
that one.
red.
Good effort out there.
Soft lockout and a little bit of up and
245
down.
kilos on the bar, please, for Cameron.
Okay, Cameron. Here comes some strategy
All right,
now.
this is the first pull in our 66 kilo junior battle.
So he's got
Every one of
245
these
on the
lifters is
bar.
going to wanna
He
make
hits
this
this, that
attempt.
puts him at 557 and a half.
This lift will currently
Satvir
pull him from second. We have an attempt change.
can
Do we have the right
Keep
weight on
his
the bar,
third
you
attempt
guys?
at 247 and a
I
half,
see it flashing.
which would then tie
Table, 245 kilos. Is that what we
Cameron,
want?
but would give him advantage
237 and a half.
because he is lighter.
So
Then
they
you're
have
you're having a
deadlifts
look over at
up to
Alan
2
Chung. He
attempt
put in
changes, and you can
255
change
kilos for
your
his third
attempt.
attempt.
No
I'm pretty
lower
sure
than
he's
the
going to
previous
adjust
attempt
that
up
depending
until
on what
the bar is
happens
all
between
loaded.
Satvir and Cameron.
So he wants
Needless to say,
237.5
everyone's got to
kilos.
hit their lifts.
This would move him from second
You got to remember what's on the line right now. Everyone's hit one deadlift.
and
Everyone
force
goes
his
home with a medal.
opponent
Everyone
to
gets to
pull
hang
the
that
win.
medal up in their bedroom, in their gym. They get to find a nice spot in their underwear drawer where they can put
Bar
it in 10
is
to
loaded.
15 years. That's secure. Now we are competing for a spot on the national team. So Cameron's going to pull this and put the pressure on everyone else. Let's see what happens.
Let's go, Cam. Let's go, Cam. Let's go.
A bit too heavy today.
And no lift.
All
No
right,
lift.
So we're going to go to 240
Cameron has
kilos
been
for
leading
Satvir.
from the start. Misses that. That puts Cameron right now at 542 and a half. Now Cameron weighs more than Alan Chung. So as
So
of
he
right now, if
currently
Alan
sits in
Chung
first place on body weight, if
hits
I can see those
this,
numbers correctly.
he would tie Cameron and beat him on body weight. But Satvir's in here for 240. If he hits that, that gives him the gold medal. Now he could drop it down
Bar is loaded.
and
Let's
still
go,
be ahead
Satvir.
of everyone else, but he can only drop it as low as 237 and a half, and he chose to keep, sorry, my mistake, he cannot drop it down because he attempted 240 on his second. So he has to hit this to secure his spot on Team Canada. And remember, he was called for a soft lockout on the last one. Let's see if he can lock those knees. Lots of pressure on this young man. Oh,
And not today.
and another miss.
All right, we'll see what happens with that last pull here. All right, 247.5 kilos here for
Okay,
Anakin,
so that
our
still puts
sub-junior
Satvir in the
120.
silver position. Technically the gold position. Alan Chung can pull 255 and actually win the national championship. Alan, who was behind by 30 after squats, and he had the smallest bench, but now his deadlift could land him a spot on the national team. But first, Anakin,
Bar
is going to take
loaded.
his lift at 247 and end a perfect day. And he'll be
This
the
will
only
a 9
lifter in
for
this
9
flight of a
for
perfect
Anakin.
day.
Let's go.
Ethan was in flight A, now in flight B. Can Anakin do this?
All right, you guys. So those two 66s missed their third attempts. Alan needs to pull 255 to total the same, but win on body weight.
That didn't go for
this will
Anakin,
move
so now
him
we got
from
Alan
third
Chung,
to
who's sitting in
first
third
for a
place.
win
If
on
he hits
body weight.
this,
I want to hear
everybody
in this
ties
race
at
get behind him.
542 and a half, but he
It's a
wins
gold
because of
medal
body
pull,
weight.
moving him up 2 positions.
Satvir is sitting in silver medal, and if Alan hits
Bar
this, he
is
stays to silver.
loaded.
If he misses this, then Satvir gets the gold medal. There's a lot on the line for every lifter right here. Alan is battling. He hits this. He is on Team Canada, going to the World Championships. He misses. Satvir has secured his spot for Team Canada, going to the World Championships. Oh, the pressure. Everyone is standing in the room. The intensity is high. Let's see what happens with Alan. He's getting himself steady. He's ready. He's set. Tension. He's driving. It's moving. Oh!
What a battle, you guys. Nice effort.
So Alan Chung does not lift that. Satvir is your national champion with a 542.5 kilo total, winning on body weight. Cameron, silver medal, 542.5. And Alan Chung, so close, 537.5. What an amazing flight. Thank you for listening at home. There's going to be a break here, and then we're going to have another session coming up at 12. My name is Chris Fudge. I've enjoyed every minute of this. Best of luck to all the lifters moving forward for the rest of the week. Thank you.
I can if I really have to.
No, it's okay. Well, she's handling Kevin now.
Oh, is she?
I can probably do it if you want. Yeah, I'll do it. Yeah, I know that's fine. Don't worry about it.